received. Over the past 5 years, the paper said that he suffered 3 relapses, including one at his home in Carmel. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC, Mobile News.
IMPD and UIndy police are investigating the death of a student. Officers found the male student inside an apartment at University Lofts Wednesday evening. University of Indianapolis President Tanuja Singh says they are working closely with police and are supporting the family. Counseling services are available on campus. Indiana State Police say a man was shot and killed during a traffic stop in Decatur County Wednesday after the man pointed a firearm at them. Troopers and Greensburg officers pulled over 39-year-old Greensburg man Travis Manleaf on a county road. He stepped out of the car with a handgun and pointed it at officers. That's when 2 deputies and a Greensburg officer fired at Manleaf and killed him. No one else was hurt. An investigation is now ongoing. Indiana Republicans say they want to join in on efforts started by Texas to redraw their state's congressional maps, but Governor Mike Braun is in no hurry.
So I've been clear from the get-go that this needs to be a slower process rather than one we rush into.
Braun, a guest Wednesday on WIBC's The Hammer and Nigel show. He said him and other state leaders met with Vice President J.D. Vance earlier this month to discuss possible redistricting in Indiana. State Republicans also just returned from D.C. following a meeting with the Trump administration, who's wanting red states to redraw their maps and pick up more seats for the GOP before next year's midterms. Gas prices going down slightly, but still up compared to this time last week. The state average is $3.36 a gallon, according to Gas Buddy. In Indianapolis, it's $3.40. With training camp and final cuts now in the rearview mirror for Colts general manager Chris Ballard, he addressed the quarterback situation.
Both of them competed, professional, battled to the end.
When asked at a press conference Wednesday if anyone has reached out about a trade for Anthony Richardson, Ballard replied, "We are not trading him." Traffic on the 5s. Good morning, Matt Bear.
What's happening, Jared? Looking at northbound 65 stop-and-go traffic before and after the north split. South side northbound 65 slows after Keystone Avenue into the south split. That is a construction zone. Crash east side Emerson Avenue north of Michigan Street. Traffic sponsored by Mattress Firm. Need better sleep? Upgrade to a premium mattress at Mattress Firm's Labor Day sale, the best sale of the year. They make sleep easy. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Well, summer's still hot, and so are the deals at Tom Roush Lincoln. Right now, get 0% for up to 48 months on 2025 Lincoln Aviator and Nautilus, or 0.9% for 72 months on 2025 Grand Touring Corsair. Or how about a $50,000 Lincoln Corsair from just $499 per month? So come get one of those hot summer deals at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fisher.
MSRP $52.20, 36-month term, $2,500 due at signing, $499 a month, 10,500 miles per year. Good through 8/31/25.
At Advent, nasal congestion and sinus infections can be solved with an in-office 20-minute procedure. Elsewhere, expect surgery.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's Diamond Engagement Ring Store.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Partly to mostly cloudy. A few scattered showers and storms north of I-70 today, a high of 78. Showers ending early tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 57. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey, 93 WIBC.
And I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. It's 9:06. Kendall and Casey starts now.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
You know, there's no better feeling in this business, Casey, when some other show does all the work for you.
I know. They did a really, really good job yesterday, too.
So, Braun, the governor, Mike Braun, was on with Hammer and Nigel yesterday. And there is so much. They did an excellent job with their interview. Yeah. There's so much good stuff because they basically hit on a whole bunch of the things that are the show. And I thought his answers were absolutely fascinating. And so we're basically just going to steal a bunch of their clips because, like, Braun's never coming on with us ever again. So I thought
he did mention you, though.
Well, he did, and so we'll get into that. But I wanted to play a couple of these clips because, like I said, I thought they did a very good job with their interview. And
no fear.
We don't need him to come on with us. They asked all the questions, and then we can just respond to his answers, right? So the big thing, and look here, I was talking with the reporter yesterday about this with Braun. One of the things that just drives me insane is you ask him a question. This is in no way an indictment of Hammer and Nigel. This is every interview I've ever seen Braun do. So you ask him a question, and he'll go on this long explanation about the event that is happening, which, yes, Einstein, we know that's why we asked you the question, and then he'll give you like 2 seconds of answer about the actual question that you asked him.
Yeah, you ask him what time it is, and he'll tell you how to build a watch.
So I thought they did a pretty good job of trying to at least get some answers out of the guy. Okay, so they asked him about gerrymandering and the redistricting, and this is the most. So basically, we're doing it now because he doesn't like the maps in the state of Massachusetts. Listen to this.
And then all along, and I've been clear that, and it's not a reason that you'd necessarily do it, but the Democrats have come out so strongly against it because they've gerrymandered every place they can get by with it. Massachusetts, the closest comparison to Indiana, 36% voted for Trump, 39% voted for Harris, in our state. So do the math, that's close. They have 9 congressional districts, not one Republican, because they were unabashed about gerrymandering and did it. You look at Illinois; they have pretty well gerrymandered to the extent you can't anymore.
You notice what you didn't hear in there?
Indiana, Hoosiers.
You,
Taxpayers.
How this benefits you.
Yeah.
I mean, that is such a bizarre leap to say, we're going to do this because some other state, we don't like how we did theirs, and in no way does this benefit you. It just benefits us, the Republican Party. So we're going to just do this. Yeah, thanks, taxpayers, for subsidizing our party function to make our party more powerful.
Right. That should be the theme of today's show. It's never about the taxpayer.
That's right. No, you're 100% correct. It is absolutely, in all these answers, almost all these answers, it was fascinating that it's always some other thing, some other entity. So like, it's never you. He never talks about you and putting you first. It's always, the government or the party, or we'll get to the data centers later, about how great the data centers are. Like, it's never about you. And so that brings us to our next thing that they asked him about, which is, why are you willing to move heaven and earth to get 1 or 2 more seats in the Congress, but you wouldn't help the people on your signature issue, which is property taxes?
When it comes to property taxes, I had a few days left in that session to where, now that most people have read the bill thoroughly and see that 2/3, if not more, will have lower property tax bills every year going forward, more of your home is exempted, it wasn't worth walking away from. Plus, try to get something done if you do call a special session. Remember, you can get overruled with a simple majority. So, and we got that bill so close to being maxed out that it only passed by 2 votes in the Senate to get it across the finish line. So that didn't make sense.
And it costs a lot of money for these special sessions, right?
Well, it's going to cost, I've heard estimates anywhere from $250,000 to maybe $350,000. So that's not chump change, but that's a very small amount to make sure that our representation is reflective of Hoosier voters, and compare it again to Massachusetts.
Okay, so there's so much on this. First of all, this is the biggest thing. He lied just a few days ago because he emphatically said $150,000.
And now he just said $250,000 to $350,000.
And there ain't no way that's what's going to cost either. But let's just give him that. So you got the governor of the state who your money, because that's what's paying for this, your money, so flippant about it that, I'm $100,000, $200,000 off. What does that matter if I can help our party? It's not about helping you. He'll spend any amount of money. If it were $1 million, he'd do it if he thought it would help the party. And that is the biggest part of that answer right there, even though the other stuff is important, about how flippant he is, that he doesn't have any idea what it costs. He doesn't care. It doesn't matter. He would do it if it gets him 1 more seat in Congress because Massachusetts did something.
But when it comes to property taxes, simple majority, he would have been overruled if he called a special session for that.
But then it comes back to what you talked about. It's never about you. He's afraid of the General Assembly. Look, Braun is a weak person. You hear him speak. You hear him give speeches. He's a weak person. And the idea that he's not willing to fight for anything. You hear him give these answers with Hammer and Nigel. It's, hey, if I think I got the votes, I'll do it. But if not, I'm not going to. Can you imagine Ron DeSantis, how he would handle, whether it's this issue or whatever, the property taxes? The property tax bill only got through the Senate by 2 votes because it's a horrible bill. Not because it was so good for the taxpayers. It's a horrible bill for everyone. There's all sorts of new tax increases that are going to offset whatever you're going to get back. We've already laid that out, the income taxes et al. Property taxes don't stop going up. So whatever rebate you're going to get within 4 to 5 years, we did the math at the time, it's all going to go away. You're going to end up paying more. And because of this bizarro formula, which, by the way, is my understanding, I don't know if Stephen Whitmer from Indie Reporter is in the chat. He went to some event the other day with Jeff Thompson, who's the head of Ways and Means, who wrote this horrible, rotten property tax bill.
Okay.
Yes, where he basically finally admitted there's problems with the assessments. No kidding, idiot. That's been the problem from the beginning,
all along. Right.
is the assessments.
Right.
What we've been screaming about are the assessments that some it's an elected person, but a non-fiscal agent, in this case the county assessor, can raise your taxes without any debate or discussion. I mean, you can appeal it, but good luck with that. It's not your town or city boards. It's not your county boards. It's the assessor is raising your taxes every single year. That is the problem, and they did nothing in this bill to address this. For Braun to act like, oh, I didn't call the special session because the bill was just too good to walk away from.
Maxed out.
It was maxed out. What the hell does that mean?
I don't know. What does that mean?
What does it mean? Like there was too much for you? There was too much benefit for you? There was too many taxes for you? What does that mean? It was maxed out. The bill you proposed, Mr. Governor, this bill that passed was a fraction of the benefit that you had proposed. But the bring this all full circle, he wasn't willing to fight. He wasn't willing to die on the hill for you. He wasn't willing to say, sometimes you got to get nothing to prove a point and then come back. Because what a fighter would have done is said, okay, then I'll call another.
Right.
And another, and another, and another. And we will keep doing this and let the media keep reporting on it until you people get your act together. But he'll burn through 350 or 250 or 150. He doesn't even know what it is if it helps his party.
Well, to your point that he's not willing to fight, if he had real conviction about anything, he would have said, no, we're calling a special session. We're getting this done. This needs to happen in Indiana, and here's why. He doesn't do any of that. The only reason he's going to call the special session is if he can whip the votes, if he's got the votes to make it pass. Showing once again, he's not even willing to fight on something for his own party, let alone you.
Yeah, and like I said, I think Hammer and Nigel did a fabulous job with this because they got to so much in such a short amount of time. So I want to take a real quick break because they asked him about the data centers.
Oh, boy.
And the answer, the bizarro answer on the data centers was fascinating to me. It's like he acknowledges the problem, but then doesn't acknowledge how he and his own IEDC are making the problem. Like it's two clips that are just fascinating. We'll talk about it next.
It's Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
Sun's up, the coffee is brewing, and Tony Katz is your morning information barista.
Tony Katz, good to be with you.
Clarity.
We're not interested in having this debate. We're only interested in honestly addressing the issue.
Context.
We should not present this in any other light. The objective is the destruction of Western civilization.
And a little caffeine.
Only the Constitution should rule.
Tony Katz in the Morning News. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 93 WIBC.
Don't let pneumococcal pneumonia break your stride. If you're 50 or older, you're at increased risk. So be proactive with Capvaxive pneumococcal 21-valent conjugate vaccine to help protect against invasive pneumococcal disease and pneumonia caused by certain types of pneumococcal bacteria. Capvaxive helps protect against the strains of bacteria that cause about 30% more IPD cases than any other pneumococcal conjugate vaccine in adults over 50, according to national level CDC stats. Regional variations may exist. Don't get Capvaxive if you're allergic to the vaccine or its ingredients. Tell your doctor if you have a weakened immune system. Common side effects include injection site reactions, feeling tired, headache, muscle aches, and fever. Capvaxive does not protect against all strains. For more information, call 1-800-927-8888 or visit capvaxive.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Capvaxive. Need help paying for your Merck vaccine? Visit merckhelps.com. Sponsored by Merck.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today. Today.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago Senator Dick Durbin. And now Dick Durbin has a new scheme, a government takeover of your credit card. Today, consumers have thousands of choices in credit cards, all with equal, strong security. But Durbin's plan is less competition and less security. And that means more risk for your credit and your identity. Tell Republicans in Congress, stop Dick Durbin's takeover of your credit card before it's too late.
Paid for by Electronic Payments Coalition.
Pat Sullivan here with an offer from my friends at Hope Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling that you don't want to miss. For a limited time, Hope Plumbing will buy back your old air conditioning unit for up to $1,500 with the purchase of a complete heating and cooling system. It's time to call them if you're hot. Don't wait for the next heat wave to be caught sweating at home. Act now before the offer ends. Stay cool and call Hope Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today at 641-HOPE. That's 641-HOPE.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Community Health Network cares for your heart health. From heart scans and vascular screenings to complex heart procedures, you can count on our expert team for the highest quality cardiovascular care, when and where you need it. Your path to a healthy heart starts with knowing your risk. Schedule a heart scan or vascular screening today. Visit ecommunity.com/heart. Community Health Network. Exceptional care, simply delivered.
Reach your fitness goals in 2025 with a 20-minute once-a-week program at Exercise Inc. 5 locations now in Fishers. Visit exerciseinc.com.
Pierce Jewelers is the best family-owned jewelry store in Carmel. All jewelry and watch repair, appraisals, and custom design are done in-house. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
Okay, we got to play these clips of the governor talking about the data centers, but before that, coming up next segment, because we're going to need some time to get into this. Remember last week, Casey, when I talked about the little public records request that I put in with the state police?
Yeah, you had to go through the portal.
And they wouldn't respond to me, and they made me go through the portal. Well, I think the Capitol Chronicle went through the portal, too, and there is a mass... Okay.
Yeah.
So for all you people and some other things we talk about that you're like, where's this at? Where's that at? When are we going to see this? When are we going to... Things take time to reveal themselves. And this is one of those where we tried as best we could to give you a little Easter egg, of a nugget of what was going on. And now it has revealed itself of what we were requesting information on. And just because it isn't revealed in the moment doesn't mean it's not going to come out. There's a massive update in the Tom Kleinhelter case. Of course, Kleinhelter is this Du Bois County sheriff, close political ally of Governor Braun, who we made statewide news when former state police superintendent Doug Carter came on our program and said, look, this guy, we had an 80-page probable cause affidavit over him misusing commissary money to pay for trips and other things, and this case should have never gone away. A special prosecutor came in, and as soon as Carter was out of state police chief, the case, and Braun is in as governor, case magically goes away. There's a massive update on that. We will get to, which was what we were trying to tell you. We were requesting information on, and Gosh darn it. And it's funny because Nikki Kelly's going to be on with us in a little bit. The Capitol Chronicle beat us to being able to talk about it. It's funny because last night I got the update from the state police that
your request
had been fulfilled. Now they've got a story up about it. So, but we'll do that here in just a second. So stick around because that's going to be huge. Real quick, I do want to, the governor was on, speaking of the governor, I mean, he sounds like he's got more problems today to deal with. But he was on with Hammer and Nigel yesterday. We played a couple of clips, the first segment about the gerrymandering and why he would call a special session for gerrymandering but not for property taxes. Hammer and Nigel also asked him about the data centers.
Yep. We've heard reports there's 40 coming into the state of Indiana.
And we're going to play you 2 clips of him talking about the data centers because Braun's, this is so fascinating that it's like he acknowledges the problem. And the problem with the data centers is they're sucking all this electricity. They're sucking all this power.
It's the energy and the water issue coming up again.
That we don't have. And you have these skyrocketing utility rates already. And then even if you raise the rates, there's not the infrastructure to support them. So let's play the first clip of Braun talking about the data centers.
What are we thinking here?
Well, data centers, if you don't have them, you're not going to be competing for whatever AI is going to do for us. And if we aren't to AI first, China will be. They probably like what they see here. We're the leading edge on that technology, but data centers come at a high cost. One large data center can use 5% of the electricity we totally produce as a state, a gigawatt. A gigawatt, we only produce 20 for all current businesses and households. So, and they take 3 to 5 years minimally to set up a new generation facility, probably natural gas. And until we probably get our hands around small modular reactors, the safe form of nuclear that powers aircraft carriers and submarines, we won't be in a place, nor will any state, not to mention they use a lot of water. So we only have a third of our counties that got enough water to do it, and then everyone is short on electric generation. So it's got complications to it.
Okay, so first of all, your IEDC, Mr. Governor, the newly appointed IEDC board, just approved incentives for 4 more of these things. If you're so against them and he's admitting we don't have the infrastructure. Those SMRs, that's a 20-year thing. Nikki Kelly will be with us next hour, like I said, and she has a column out about this where she touches on that. They're trying to act like this is some magic silver bullet, these SMRs. They're nothing. They haven't done it anywhere that I'm aware of. And he's admitting this, and yet your own IEDC just approved massive economic incentives for 4 more of these things to go in over the next, 7 or 8 years.
And he said one takes up 5% of the state's energy. One data center will take up 5% of the entire state's energy. And we're hearing talk that there's 40 coming into the state of Indiana. Well, 5% times 40, we don't have it. But yet they're saying, yes, come on in, and we're going to give you tax abatements for them. What?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's so. And by the way, his whole thing is not about you. It's not about Indiana. It's about America competing with China, which means he's doing it to be subservient to Trump.
Right.
That's exactly what that is. That's what he's saying without saying it, is this is not about you. It's not about Indiana, because if it were about Indiana, you wouldn't be giving all this stuff away. We're giving these people money, basically, in the short term to come make a bunch of money. Is that about you?
I want to share something. This came out of the South Bend area. This is from WSBT News. They reported that there was a multi-party memorandum of understanding between a Microsoft data center and local water. Right? So the St. Joe County Economic Development Executive Director, he said, what we're going to do is look like for sewer and water service, and we're going to work through a whole series of professional studies, engineering studies, to really make sure we can validate the service area maps. So they're putting in this data center, and then they're going to do the engineering studies to see if they've got the water to cover it. This is so much putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah, at this point, Braun and his IEDC goons clearly can't do it. These local governments have to start saying no. You're the line of defense. If you're a local government, you cannot give them the zoning approval to come in and do it. You have to stop it. You have to ignore the pie in the sky numbers they're throwing at you and, oh, this will put you on the map and da-da-da-da-da. No, what it's going to do is it's going to put your community out of power and out of water. You got, okay, one more. I want to make sure we get, well, there's one more clip of him talking about the data centers.
Is it expensive? Are costs going to go up? Do we have any numbers on that?
If we don't add generation, and a bill was passed that was forward-looking, that every data center that comes online from here forward has to pay for 80% of the electric generation investment cost. And we're going to ideally get that to 120 if people want to come here for other reasons, so they put some electricity back on the grid. Otherwise, you're going to hear more about high electric rates. You're going to hear it from me. You know, Rob Kendall was the loud voice on property taxes. He just was disappointed with the final outcome. Well, here, electric rates, electric bills, Southern Indiana, there's a loud cry because that's owned by a utility that's put a lot of costs into it that have jacked rates down there, similar to what we saw in property taxes. So it's going to be the new property tax issue. I'm going to try to reconfigure the agencies that oversee it to where there's strong ratepayer concern, not just concern for the utilities, because it's breaking the bank as well.
Sir, we put 1,000 people in the State House. It wasn't just me. It was thousands of people. Now, maybe you were lying when you said it, but both you and the lieutenant governor said, oh, it's the number one issue. Everywhere we go, it's all we hear. What'd you do? You lied to everybody. You screwed them, and now they're going to end up paying higher taxes. Is that your plan with electric bills? Is that the plan? Like, what is it? Rob Kendall was a loud voice. No, I was a voice.
Hi, my name is Casey, by the way.
Right.
Nice to meet you.
Totally just like you're not even a human. I'm a loud voice.
And I would like to point out, I believe it was, 3 days ago, that I said, oh, by the way, this whole energy and the utility costs, that is going to be the new property tax.
Yeah, if he handles the electric bills anywhere
welcome.
similar that he handled the property tax bill, you're gonna be paying about 10 times what you're paying now.
Yeah.
All right, so we got to take a break. But oh shoot, we didn't even get to the clip of him.
We'll get to that and the Kleinhelter update.
We didn't even get to the
so
clip
much.
of Micah's chief of staff's ridiculous husband. Hammer asked him about that. All right, but the big thing is we got to talk about the Kleinhelter stuff because that is fascinating. And in a primo example, when we tell you something, we can't always tell you everything right away. It doesn't mean things aren't happening. Let's talk about it next.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
An official message from Medicare.
I'm saving money on my Medicare prescriptions. Maybe you can save too. With Medicare's Extra Help program, my premium is zero and my out-of-pocket costs are low. Who should apply? Single people making less than $24,000 a year or married couples who make less than $32,000. Even if you don't think you qualify, it pays to find out.
Go to ssa.gov/extrahelp. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The day after tragedy. Cloudy and 63 in the Circle City. Highs in the mid-70s this afternoon. Showers possible as well. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending now at 9:31. Following up on the mass shooting at a Catholic school in Minneapolis, which left 2 children dead and over a dozen people injured Wednesday.
2 kids were killed, ages 8 and 10. 14 other kids were injured. The good news is police say those 14 kids are expected to recover. We also know that 3 people in their 80s were injured during the shooting. It's going to be a long road to recovery. The people here only beginning to process the evil that they were faced with and the trauma inflicted upon them. They did hold a vigil last night to rely on faith and community to help them get through this difficult time. Here's what we know about the kids injured. They're between the ages of 6 and 15. One of them jumped on top of his friend to protect him in the middle of the shooting.
Fox's Nate Foy reporting the FBI is investigating this as a hate crime. The Department of Health and Human Services announcing the firing of CDC Director Susan Monarez in a social media post Wednesday. This comes less than a month after she was nominated by the president and confirmed by the Senate. Attorneys for Monarez say she was removed solely for political reasons, insisting she refused to rubber stamp unscientific, reckless directives from the Trump administration. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
The agency is in trouble, and we need to fix it and we are fixing it, and it may be that some people should not be working there anymore.
Several top CDC officials have resigned in protest of the administration's recent moves. And the economy improving more than first reported in the spring. The GDP for the second quarter rose 3.3%. Now for the opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management. The Dow is up 74 points to 45,565. The S&P 500 also green, up 7 points to 6,481. And the NASDAQ up 26 points, 23,565. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten, classics are remixed, bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
The cost of mesothelioma treatments can exceed $400,000, and families often face losing their homes and life savings just to pay the bill. The Rights and Claims Department of Flint Cooper has helped victims secure financial support they need to pay for their care and ensure their family's future. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma and don't have legal representation, call Flint Cooper now at 800-606-8169. Time is running out for you to file a claim, so don't wait. Call 800-606-8169 for a free consultation.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
Do you suffer from sore feet, back, knee, or hip pain? The Good Feet Arch Support System has helped many people find relief, like Tim.
I'm always telling my colleagues who have sore feet, this is the greatest thing. I'll even take my shoe off and show them. And I believe in the product so much. When you have something that works, you kind of want to share it with people. It worked for me, maybe it can work for you.
Or do you wake up at night with heel pain like Crystal?
I would wake up in the middle of the night with all kinds of pain in my heels and in my arch. So I went to the Good Feet store, and ever since then, I've been pain-free. I wear them every day. I wear them when I walk, at the gym, when I work. They're great.
Get back to walking, working, and exercising, and imagine a life without pain. No shots, no surgery, no medication. You've got nothing to lose but your pain. Stop into the Good Feet store today for a free fitting and test walk. We're located in Castleton by the Fashion Mall or in Greenwood, just off the 65.
Thanks to the Good Feet store. Thanks to the Good Feet store. Everything turn.
Things take time, Casey.
Yes. Just like the song is saying, there is a season for everything.
Things don't, especially in the government, they don't always get revealed right away.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And especially we're dealing with legal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to give you a great example of this. So last week, we had a little fun. I said I had asked some information from the state police, and they were like, please smooch both of our butt cheeks and fill it out through this portal. And I said, come on. Like, I asked for some very straightforward stuff. You could have just given it to me, but
they
fine.
said, you're not special, Rob Kendall. Do it the way everybody else has to.
And I said, I can't tell you what it is because I got to get the documents back before I know this thing took place, but I've got to get the documents. And this is the thing, right? On this program, when we tell you stuff's going down, I think we're batting about 1,000 when we tell you stuff's going down and then the stuff goes down. And what we were looking into now, Capitol Chronicle, which good on them. They've got an army of people that they can dispense. It's just with us, it's just me and Case. So, if the daddy daycare service runs a little long one day, we don't get to things as fast as other days. But so the Indiana Capitol Chronicle has a big article out. Let's just remind everybody of who Tom Kleinhelter is, because this is very important. So Tom Kleinhelter is the Du Bois County Sheriff. That is the home county of Mike Braun. Kleinhelter is a close political ally of Governor Braun. And last year, while Holcomb was still the governor and Doug Carter was still the state police superintendent, Kleinhelter was in an 80-page probable cause affidavit accused of misusing money from the commissary. That's the money inmates pay into in the jail, which the sheriff has basically control over.
He used some of these funds for employee gifts.
But the big one was he allegedly paid for his wife to go on these trips with him. State police looked into it. A guy by the name of Jeff Heron was the officer who was put in charge of the case. He was the guy that helped lead the Jamie Knoll investigation. He did the Deshaun Reed investigation. Basically, one of the top guys in state police. The special prosecutors brought in from Orange County. They present this 80-page probable cause affidavit. Everything seems to be moving swimmingly, and these allegations of public corruption. And then all of a sudden, there's this radio silence. Braun becomes the governor, who, keep in mind, Braun and Kleinhelter are close political allies. Braun becomes the governor, and a new police superintendent comes in. Doug Carter leaves, and all of a sudden, not only is Kleinhelter cleared of all wrongdoing, despite an 80-page probable cause affidavit, they basically let him write his own press release saying that he didn't do anything wrong, and the investigative officer gets disciplined,
reassigned
by the state police. And so Doug Carter came on our program. This has been a little over a month ago now, I believe, and spent the hour with us talking about this case, because he said, look, there's all of this stuff that tells me this guy did some pretty serious, this guy being Kleinhelter, did some pretty serious stuff, and I don't understand how it could have gone away. I don't understand how he could not be charged with anything, and the even bigger thing is how this decorated 30-plus year officer is being punished for simply doing his job.
Yes.
So, state, obviously everybody knows about WIBC, so media outlets across the state started catching on to this and have been running stories about it. Capitol Chronicle did a big expose on it. And now, this is what I was requesting information on. I'm just going to read you to make sure we relay the information accurately from the Indiana Capitol Chronicle. The state body that oversees police certification is now considering whether Du Bois County Sheriff Tom Kleinhelter should be stripped of his law enforcement credentials. The Indiana Law Enforcement Training Board's decertification subcommittee was asked last week to review the case following a request from the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy and its executive director, Tim Horty.
Yeah. And under Indiana law, you can be decertified even without a criminal conviction.
Well, right. And it's my understanding, and we'll have to have Doug come back on again and explain to us how all this works, but that would take away his arrest power. The board accused Kleinhelter of perjury, alleging that the sheriff signed a nepotism compliance form months after he approved his wife as a special deputy. The training board claimed that could be a violation of the county's policy around, quote, hiring and supervising relatives. Kleinhelter is further accused of false informing for telling state police investigators that he received an airline E-credit for a canceled work trip, although the airline confirmed he was actually issued a direct refund.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Look, this is, and we got into this with Carter, and I'm trying to figure out how I want to say this, because I think there's still a bunch of moving parts on this thing. And so I don't want to in any way, does this sound familiar? There's a bunch of moving parts, and a bunch of people are doing stuff, and you don't want to reveal what certain people, does this sound familiar to anyone? Like anything else going on right now? Look, I've gotten to know Doug Carter, and we have some. Look, I vehemently disagree with him on Delphi. Right, I still disagree with him about whether Allen acted alone or not. I've gotten to know Doug Carter pretty well over the past several months, and I don't think Doug would mind me telling this now. Doug had initially reached out to me about this, and this. I think this said a lot about Doug Carter, because we said some pretty bad things about Doug Carter on this program.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Doug Carter reached out to me, and he basically said, "Look, nobody calls it straighter than you do, and here's what I know." I met him. We met for about an hour. We talked about this, And he said, here's what I know. Here's my concerns. Here's what I'd like you to look into. And it was probably a month before Doug ended up on the show with us, verifying the things that Doug had told me in our initial meeting.
With you, yeah.
And through multiple sources, all the stuff that he had said checked out. And so I think we as a state have got to take a real hard look here that you have a guy who the sitting state police superintendent at the time who has I couldn't find any reason this guy would have a grudge against Kleinhelter. I don't see anything in their past where they've crossed paths that he would have some deep-seated hatred or gotcha attempt or whatever. This guy Kleinhelter appears to have done, and it seems like these other organizations, at least some of them, are starting to share that view publicly, did some pretty shady stuff. And when you look at an 80-page probable cause affidavit by a decorated law enforcement officer who's been very well thought of. I've talked to multiple people in state police. There's source I have inside state police who said Jeff Heron is the best of the best. And when you look at an 80-page probable cause affidavit, the evidence in front of us, and the fact that, according to Carter, there were no red flags from the special prosecutor until Mike Braun became the governor and a new state police superintendent was appointed. And then all of a sudden, all of this just goes away.
Just went away.
And when the Capitol Chronicle reached out to Huddleston, I think is her name, the special prosecutor, she couldn't give a reason
why it went away.
Like when you don't charge somebody, you'll say, "Look, here's the reasons." Da 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 da. She wouldn't give them a reason. I think this is a massive story at this point, and the fact that you have law enforcement now basically backing that up, or at least a subcommittee of law enforcement backing that up. This needs to be something that every media outlet in the state is on, because the fact that you've got a very close political ally of the governor who is at the epicenter of all of this, and the thing goes away once Braun becomes the governor. That's a heck of a coincidence, Casey.
It is a little sus, isn't it? So there's going to be hearings. There's no timeline set for them. It could take several months. This is, again, one of those things that, yes, information will come out, just maybe not as quickly as you would like. Kleinhelter has not been scheduled for a hearing, but an official notice was recently sent to him and his attorney. Now, you've got the Indiana Law Enforcement Training Board. They're going to be making the final decision on this, and these board members are appointed by the governor. None of the current ones were appointed by Braun. Kleinhelter himself serves on this board, although he won't have a vote on his own case.
All right, so that's the latest on that. And look, I just want to reiterate, we sometimes get put in bad positions because we get information, and when we get information, we want to give stuff to you. We have to have a balancing act of being able to give you, our audience, information on things, and yet still working to protect our sources and confirm things, and also not endanger the ability to give you more information in the future. So there's some times where people will be like, where's this? Where's that? Why isn't this here? Why isn't that here? That here? We are a lot of times working on 3 or 4 different things at the same time, and we're always making our best effort to give you every bit of information we can without damaging the people who, if they give it to us without wanting to be named, we try to confirm it and then give it to you, and not out those people, and then also not out our ability to give you more information in the future. So there you go. That's the latest on that.
It's Kendall Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show this afternoon, the biggest stories of the day, and Rob Kendall will rip off his shirt, put on war paint, and go off the rails. 93 WIBC.
Well, summer's still hot, and so are the deals at Tom Roush Lincoln. Right now, get 0% for up to 48 months on 2025 Lincoln Aviator and Nautilus, or 0.9% for 72 months on 2025 Grand Touring Corsair. Or how about a $50,000 Lincoln Corsair from just $499 per month? So come get one of those hot summer deals at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fisher.
MSRP $52.20, 36-month term, $2,500 due at signing, $499 a month, 10,500 miles per year. Good through 8/31/25.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. You can say goodbye to cracked, stained, and dirty old floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out the color. Upgrade your home today by calling Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. And they come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. The phone number, 877-417-0635. You can find them online, too. GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com.
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT and cybersecurity? Attend classes live online or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
We play fair in Indiana, but Washington insiders want to cheat. They want taxpayers to spend millions to redraw legislative maps approved just 4 years ago. That's not democracy. It's a power grab, and they're hoping you won't notice. Thankfully, some of our leaders are saying no to D.C. politics. Tell politicians Hoosiers don't cheat. Protect our votes and get back to focusing on our real problems. Join the team at playfairindiana.com. Paid for by Indiana Conservation Voters.
Snapped a great photo? Witnessed something newsworthy?
Hey, there's some news.
You can text it right to the WIBC newsroom. Join the text club. Text WIBC to 317-239-9393.
When I get over this mountain, you know where I want to go.
This is a fascinating story from down in Evansville, and it sort of goes back to what the governor touched on with Hammer and Nigel yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
People have had enough of the utility bills.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he was talking about the data centers and how much they're taking, but we're also have the rate hikes that are going up everywhere.
So multiple outlets have reported on this. Look, I mean, you've seen 20-30% increases. Of course, there was that big meeting last night for the AES customers.
Mm-hmm.
There's another big proposal for them. The consumer has gotten totally screwed on their utility bills the last 4 or 5 years. And it is maddening because the utilities are a monopoly. You can't opt out. You can't shop. You got to have them. And they're appointed by the government, right? So I think that's where they say, look, there is no competition. Whatever they say, I got to have it. And you got to have lights that turn on. You got to have heat in your home in the winter. So I get screwed. And it just seems like the shareholders of these utilities keep making more and more money at my expense, and I'm just trying to live my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think anybody minds paying for electricity. I don't think anybody minds paying for heat in their home. But it's the same thing with the property tax. I don't think people, obviously like a lot of people believe that you should not have to pay any property tax. But you didn't see a furor over this until the last 4 or 5 years, where you started seeing the doubling and tripling of property. It used to be, hey, your bill went up 1%, or, hey, your bill went up, $30 or whatever. And of course you grumble about it, but then you just, $50, you just pay it and go on. But when you're seeing $600, $700, $800 increases for people, yeah, now rage has set in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you're seeing with the utility bills. You're seeing not only these increases, but you're seeing them be massive in size and scope, and people are pissed off.
And they're just going to keep increasing as well. So Angelo's Italian restaurant down in Evansville posted a sign saying it will no longer serve CenterPoint Energy employees or their affiliates.
Good for them. I like this. I
They
don't know
said,
if this is a whole
sorry for the inconvenience, but we have been inconvenienced.
Yeah! And look, there's probably I'm sure there are a lot of well-meaning people who work, for CenterPoint Energy who have nothing to do with it. They're just people digging ditches or taking your phone calls or whatever. They're not the decision makers. And so I feel bad for these people that they're sort of like public enemy number one, where they're probably just trying to, go to work each day, earn a living, and they're paying the same stuff that you're paying. But at some point, you do have to put your foot down and start making stands.
Right.
And if that's what it takes to draw some attention to this, here's what's interesting, though. Did I send this to you? I bet I did. And this is everything that's going on in our country. Did I send you the Jesse Brown thing yesterday?
You did.
Okay, very good. So Jesse Brown is a member of the Indianapolis City County Council. He is an avowed socialist. However, he is by far the most honest member on that board, save maybe Josh Bain. And so there was this big meeting with AES last night, the utility provider here in city of Indianapolis for many, many people.
Public hearing.
And for the most part, I didn't hear anything from any state lawmakers, Republicans who control everything. You didn't hear any state reps saying, well, let's go to this meeting. If they're out there, let me know. I'll be happy to give you credit. I just didn't see any posts or anything from anybody, senators, certainly the governor. Where's the lieutenant governor?
Where
is he?
Where is the
Yes,
lieutenant
where
governor?
is he? He's not been seen. We put the milk carton photo up because he's not been seen or heard from in several days. Maybe he's out of the country. I don't know. But maybe he's joined Diego on some India jaunt. Who knows? But nobody from his office. Where's Rokita? Diego? Any of these people, right? Like, you're not seeing these Republican politicians have the outrage over these skyrocketing utility bills. But Jesse Brown, the socialist, was there.
He did go. He went to the meeting.
And he was posting about it, and he was encouraging people to come. And I don't know if he was able to speak at the meeting or not. But what does that say when our Republican lawmakers are so in bed with these utilities, which Capitol Chronicle laid that out about the meals and the tickets and the donations.
And the bullying.
That,
like, even if you're a mayor of a city and you stand up and say, no, we don't want any more increases, you get yelled at.
Yeah, you're talking about Austin Bonta, the mayor of Portage, who Ed Soliday, who's the head of utilities in the House, sent him some very mean text saying he was basically going to try to keep his city from getting any additional money going forward if he kept criticizing utilities in the IRC.
Why does Soliday care? Oh, because it might affect his steak dinner.
Yeah. So, I mean, but think about this. None of the Republicans that I'm aware of in the General Assembly are there passionately fighting for you, but the socialist guy cares more about you being able to your wallet than the Republicans? What does that say about who these Republicans actually are? Or the avowed socialist is doing more to fight special interest and to stand up for you and your wallet than the Republicans?
Yeah. There's another business down in Evansville that is going to be hosting a night without power. They're just trying to raise awareness for all of the high energy costs.
Well, and again, like, I feel bad for these CenterPoint employees because there's, I'm sure, many fine people. But at some point, you got to start making a stand because we, the consumer, are getting screwed. You're getting screwed if you got Duke. You get screwed if you got CenterPoint. You're screwed if you got AES. Any of these people, it almost seems like with all of them, you're seeing just continual rate increases. And at what point are you priced out of living?
So AES, that was their fourth public hearing. And I'm curious, after all of the data that they've gathered, did they decide, oh, we're going to have to do the infrastructure upgrades on our own?
Look.
Like, did they, what did they come to at the end of all that?
They're profit magnets. Most of these people are for-profit companies. They're not going to stop trying to make profit. This is where this sounds weird coming from me, but this is the system they've set up where the government is the oversight. The government is the parent. The government has to tell these people, no, you've had enough. You've charged these people enough. But the government isn't blameless in this either because they keep putting these mega buildings and these data centers and all these other things that are sucking all this power. So everybody's bad in this. You know who's not bad? You. But you know who's getting screwed? You. You're the victim in all of this. Everybody else is doing bad things to cause it, and you're the one who has to pay for it.
We've got is Ryan going to join us?
Okay, so there is some breaking news.
We've got some guests coming up.
Yeah. Okay, at 11 o'clock, Andrew Ireland from the General Assembly is going to be with us. He's going to show us his receipts.
Yeah, he is. He posted something earlier that he spent like almost $8 at McDonald's, and I'm very curious. You know, he's putting his receipt out there. This is what I ate while I was in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, we're gonna show Diego Morales, the Secretary of State, how transparency actually works when showing someone you paid for a trip, because he apparently can't get that through his thick skull on how that works. So that's coming up at 11. But coming up next, so there's some breaking news on the passing of Jim Irsay and how he spent the final couple years of his life. I don't think it's a surprise to anyone. It is something we have talked about. And so Ryan Hedrick from the WABC Newsroom will be with us. We'll tell you what the information was, but also Ryan Hedrick obviously has been very candid about his addiction struggles and issues. They have the Supporting Sobriety podcast. So we'll kind of get his take on what this is like to be in the position Jim Irsay allegedly was in the final years of his life.
Yep, it's coming up from 93 WIBC.
She sends me if I spring a leak. She means me, I don't have to speak. She defends me, a drunkard's dream, if I ever did see
Everybody knows Hubler's got the best warranty around. 10 years, 200,000 miles. But did you know? Now you can get that same limited powertrain warranty on new Toyotas. Introducing the all-new Hubler Toyota. Get grand opening savings all month long. And right now, lease a new 2025 RAV4, just $349 per month. Or a new Tacoma, $299 per month. Plus, choose from Camrys, Corollas, Highlanders, Tundras, and more.
Hubler's got you covered.
At the all-new Hubler Toyota on US 31 South in Indianapolis. Visit HublerToyota.com. Grand opening savings and the best warranty around. 10 years, 200,000 miles.
Cover me!
Select models, approved credit, plus tax tag title license 249 dealer doc. RAV4 model 4432, Tacoma model 7540. 36 months, $29.99 due, 0 security, 10,000 annual miles, 15 cents per mile thereafter. Expires 9/1.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed mold, mildew, bowing walls, or water in your basement? I hope not, but if you have, your basement is losing the war against groundwater. That's where Indiana Foundation Service comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your basement and stabilize your walls. Schedule your free inspection at indianafoundation.com/row.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Shop incredible end-of-summer savings at the Scandinavian Designs Labor Day sale. For a limited time, take up to 70% off select modern furniture and decor for every room in your home, including living room, bedroom, dining room, and more. This is the perfect opportunity to get your space prepped for the party season ahead. Stop by your local showroom today or shop online at ScandinavianDesigns.com. Scandinavian Designs. We make it simple, you make it home.
Sometimes an identity threat is a ring of professional hackers. And sometimes it's an overworked accountant who forgot to encrypt their connection while sending bank details.
I need a coffee.
And you need LifeLock, because your info is in endless places. It only takes one mistake to expose you to identity theft. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Killed ages 8 and 10, 14 other kids injured, as well as 3 people in their 80s also injured. The community did hold a vigil last night. Pope Leo sent a message assuring spiritual closeness to all those impacted, but Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry says more needs to be done.
These were Minneapolis families. These were American families. And the amount of pain that they are suffering right now is extraordinary.
There are reports the shooter's mother previously worked at Annunciation Catholic School. Robin Westman, born as Robert Westman, filed a change to his name in 2019 with his parents' consent to reflect a change in his gender identity.
D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser now says the district greatly appreciates President Trump's surge in federal officers, reporting an 87% drop in carjackings.
There's been a 19% decrease in burglary, 33% decrease in homicide, 42% decrease in assaults with a dangerous weapon, and a 44% decrease in robbery. And when it comes to handling crime, overall, nationwide, the president has a 53% approval rating. Looking more broadly at all major cities beyond D.C., 81% in an AP poll are saying they think crime is a major problem in large cities. And the mayor of this city that has been the test case, D.C., is now grateful to the president for the help. But she went on to say that she thinks that having all the federal law enforcement is hurting trust right now.
Bowser also said the use of masked ICE agents in neighborhoods was not working out well and said National Guard troops were inefficient. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A new report out on his battle. We've got a cloudy sky. It's 65 in the Circle City. Rain possible this afternoon. The high 76. I'm Jarrett Lewis. It's now 10:02. Jim Irsay, the longtime Colts owner, died in May at 65 after years of quietly battling addiction. A Washington Post investigation says he kept his struggle private, even from fans, as he worked with a California doctor who prescribed strong medications, starting with opioids and later adding ketamine, which concerned friends and family who sometimes saw him take the drugs or receive shots. Over the last 5 years, he had suffered 3 serious overdoses. Indiana State Police are investigating an officer-involved shooting from Wednesday in Decatur County.
Officers spotted a vehicle that they believed to be involved in an incident last night in Ripley County that they had information about. They made a traffic stop on that vehicle. They believe the suspect from that incident was inside.
Sergeant John Prine with State Police says troopers and Greensburg officers pulled over a 39-year-old Greensburg man, Travis Manleaf. Police said Manleaf stepped out of the car with a handgun and pointed it at officers. That's when they shot at him and killed him. No one else was hurt. State Police say they are determining now if Manleaf had fired any shots. University of Indianapolis police finding a student dead inside an apartment at University Lofts Wednesday evening. They described him as being a college-age male deceased in not natural circumstances. His identity has not yet been released. President of the university, Tanuja Singh, released a statement saying they are working closely with university police and IMPD in their investigation and are supporting the family. She called the news deeply upsetting. Indianapolis City County councilors are approving a stricter youth curfew but are rejecting fines for parents if kids break those curfew rules. Proposal 245 would have started with a warning letter, then hit parents with a $500 fine for a second violation and a $1,500 fine for a third and beyond. The Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee voted against it, recommending it at last night's meeting. Democratic Councilor Krista Carlino said the fines were too expensive and unfair.
Mr. Chairman, are discriminatory and predatory, and I'll be voting no tonight.
4 people were in favor, 7 of them opposed. And Colts GM Chris Ballard offering his perspective on where they sit with their young quarterback Anthony Richardson after Daniel Jones was named the starter.
If he continues with the growth that he's had, like Anthony's been good. He has, and he's made tremendous strides. Is he there yet? No. But does he have work to do? Yes, and Anthony will acknowledge that.
Ballard said they have no plans of trading AR. The Colts have Miami at home next Sunday to open the season. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level on the go and at WIBC.com. Kendall Casey back in 1 minute.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text SAVVY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text SAVVY to 42424. That's SAVVY to 42424.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers in Carmel, designers of fine custom jewelry.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
So the Washington Post has done a big investigation, and they are revealing what they claim are details on the final years of the life of former Colts owner Jim Irsay, who died in May at the age of 65. It's not good, Casey, but I don't think we are at all surprised by what we're learning in this report. And WIBC Ryan Hedrick, who will join us momentarily, has a big post up at WIBC.com if you want to read it. According to Ryan's reporting, the Washington Post says Irsay was working with a doctor in California who prescribed him strong medications. He started with opioids and later ketamine. Now, that's what killed Matthew Perry. Is that right? The Friends star. In doses that made friends and family worry. Some people told the Post they saw him taking pills, and others said they watched him get ketamine shots.
Yeah.
So when you factor in, and we'll bring Ryan in here in just a second, when you factor in the fact that he almost passed away. What was that, a couple of years ago now? And there was
there were reports back in early 24 that he had overdosed on opioids.
Yeah, because at one point, remember the 911 came to his house.
Right.
They had to resuscitate him. He was allegedly blue. And look, I don't think this surprises anyone because this guy had this issue throughout much of his life. And I feel horrible for the guy on one hand, but then on the other hand, and this is and then we'll bring Ryan in. This is my editorial comment on this. We as taxpayers invested $1 billion or more when you put interest into that stadium. And he is the CEO, or was the CEO, of the company that we invested in. Not only are we paying for that stadium, but we gave massive giveaways to Jim Irsay and the Irsay family. And is there any other company, if we knew the CEO behaved in the manner that this guy was behaving, and look, I hate that he had these addictions, and I hate that he couldn't get it under control. But people would be outraged if public money was going to invest in a company in which the head of that company, the face, the owner, behaved in the manner in which this guy did. But for some reason, every time we bring this up,
we're the bad guy.
We're the bad guy for pointing this out.
I would just like to say we were made to invest as taxpayers.
That's right.
It wasn't our choice to do it.
All right, so Ryan Hedrick from the WIBC Newsroom joins us now. He wrote the story over at WIBC.com. He also is the co-host of the Supporting Sobriety podcast. Ryan, this didn't surprise you, right? I mean, you spend your days now. Obviously, you're clean, sober, have been for a long time, but you deal with and communicate with people who are still in the throes of addiction. Did this surprise you at all to learn?
It doesn't surprise me. What surprises me is the level of cover-ups and the amount of people that will actually cover up the behavior by the addict. When you look at Jim Irsay's death, the timeline, May of 25 in Beverly Hills, he ODs in Beverly Hills, or some people think he overdoses in Beverly Hills. No suspicion of that. I'm sorry, let me retract that. But the doctors that worked with him in California didn't have any checks and balances for Irsay, and that's the real story here. If you're rich and powerful, you have unfettered access to doctors who will prescribe you and look the other way. I mean, California's system has a history of this going back to Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson's doctor killed him and went on trial for reckless homicide. So, again, Beverly Hills police say no evidence of an overdose, but the revelation in this reporting is 5 overdoses, 2 in Carmel, 1 in Turks and Caicos, 1 in Miami. It just went on and on and on. And the team, according to the Post, covered this stuff up, even though we knew something was wrong on the surface.
Well, yeah, right. I mean, you go back to, like I said, all this stuff with Irsay, just, that's so chaotic because there seem to be so many things. But, like, it was like the 911 comes to his house. They've got to revive him allegedly.
With the Narcan.
Yeah, he's blue.
It was like December of 23.
And the story just went away.
Yeah, and by the way, I just want to put this out there. This is not me editorializing this appearance on your show at all. Narcan is not recovery. Narcan is what they call, it's preventative, and it destroys people's lives. Naloxone is an opiate blocker that if you're overdosing on heroin or any other opiate will take the overdose effects away and bring you back to life. It gives people, and I really hate that this even has to be a conversation that's grouped in to recovery. This gives people an opportunity to continue using drugs again and again and again. I have a friend at IMPD says he Narcan somebody 6 times on one shift 2 months ago.
The same guy?
And this guy kept using. He Narcaned him twice on one call, 3 times on another call, 1 time on another call, and at the end of the night, he was still using. This stuff is not good.
So, what is the answer to this? Because obviously you have successfully turned your life around. Matt Baer has successfully turned his life around. You lay these things out in the Supporting Sobriety podcast. Is it will? Like, why is it that a guy like you can do this, but someone like him who has far more resources and access to medical care, et cetera, than you do, couldn't get it done. Why do people fail at this?
So here's why I reached out to you to come on the show today, because this is about destigmatizing addiction. So when we don't confront addiction for what it is, I mean, this disease of addiction kills people. We're losing 4 people a day in Indianapolis. The Colts haven't been upfront with this at all. The answer to your question is we need to talk about this and meet this head on. We need not to be ashamed of it. We need to talk about it for what it is. If people can really buy in, I think this is the disconnect from the public. If people can buy in to the fact that addiction is a disease, and here's why I say it's a disease. It is progressive, incurable, and fatal. Just like cancer, just like any other fatal disease that you might be diagnosed with. If you don't treat it, like Jim Irsay didn't treat it, he didn't take recovery seriously because somebody in his ear or his disease or his ego told him that it could keep going and use successfully, and you can't.
Do you think that the ketamine was being used to help treat him?
I think ketamine was being used to offset the effects of other drugs. I will tell you this. I was doing methamphetamine in the 90s, and my drug dealer thought I was getting too high and wanted me out of his house. He fed me ketamine to bring me down from the methamphetamine, but what that ended up doing is I collapsed. I almost died that night because the factors in ketamine, you can't mix stimulants and opiates. They don't mix well, and if you do too much, you'll die. So I think that he was using one to offset another. Addicts don't know the difference between drugs prescribed by a doctor and drugs that we take illegally on the street. So once we start playing a chemist, that's when the danger comes in.
Ryan Hedrick is our guest from the WIBC newsroom. He has a new piece out at WIBC.com related to this Washington Post investigation into the death of Jim Irsay. You said something the last time you were with us. We were talking about Joe Hogsett in the city. Mm-hmm. And you said, Joe Hogsett runs the city the way I ran my life in the throes of addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the same thing with Irsay. This team has been, especially post Andrew Luck, just constant turmoil and chaos. And I do wonder if these personal issues had anything to do with that.
Yeah, I'm not a sports expert. I'll leave that up to the fan and to John Herrick, who does sports professionally. But I will say this, okay? Addiction, behavior of a using addict, you just can't hide. Jim Irsay mismanaged the team. He would go on TV and make wild accusations. He would deny his addiction, and you could not deny Jim Irsay's behavior. In fact, the team sent a statement out to a local TV station today saying that, look, we know that he suffered with addiction. However, he met it head on. I don't think he did. I don't think he ever dealt with that. And I could think you can see that in his mannerisms and the way he walked and the way he talked. And obviously, it really showed up physically when he was in that wheelchair. He looked awful.
How do you know if you're an addict? Like, how do you know you're just because some people, yeah, they drink too much, right? But they can stop. They do stop. How do you even know? Like, if I'm just somebody who's making bad choices, or I've got a serious problem here.
Yeah, because obsessive and compulsive factors lead you to be unmanageable, and only you can actually determine whether you're an addict. That is a personal conversation that you have to have with God and with somebody in recovery. But you would know if you're an addict if you just, whatever you're doing, you're never satisfied. You're never filled up. You just can't get enough. And especially if those behaviors are making your life both inner and outward unmanageable, like how you feel about others, how you feel about yourself, and then, of course, what you do. Are you not paying bills? Are you not going to work? Are you beating your spouse? Are you getting arrested? Those are outward signs. The inner signs of unmanageability: low self-esteem, self-hatred, rebellion against authority, rebellion at work, can't keep a job. Those are the factors inside that sometimes people can't see outwardly, if that makes sense.
Hey, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask you, how common is it for someone who's in long-term recovery to have a relapse?
It's common if they stop working the program. I was texting with one of our bosses, and I said, what we say in my 12-step program is you're either working on a recovery or you're working on relapse. There's no in between, because one thing that people don't get about recovery is it's progressive. If you don't work on your recovery, your disease will work on you. And that's why there's 12 steps, and you're encouraged to write and practice the 12 steps in every area of your life. Because addicts, for people using drugs that have stopped, it's an abnormal state. For people like me, not using drugs is abnormal. I want to get high all the time.
Even all these years later?
Yeah, I just don't. I was triggered the other day driving down the street, seeing people doing open air drug sales in the homeless camp I was covering. But that's when I need to call a sponsor or tell my wife or go to a meeting or tell somebody about it. I'm telling you, addiction does not discriminate. This is why this Ursay story is so big.
I just got one more question for you, and then Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capital Chronicle is going to join us. What do you think that this does to the Kicking the Stigma campaign that the Colts have?
I think the Colts would be wise to come out with a public statement about this. I think they need to meet it head on. I don't think it does anything to the campaign. In fact, I think if they play this right, they could strengthen the campaign and just admit to his overdoses. Let us know what we already know. Build the trust back up that stigmas are hidden, and stigmas are cast in public for a reason, because when people don't deal with obvious signs, that's when addiction is stigmatized. So this could go one of two ways. The Kicking the Stigma campaign is great for people, but I think a little honesty would go a long way in building the public's trust back in their backing of the Kicking the Stigma campaign.
Ryan Hedrick from the WIBC Newsroom and the Supporting Sobriety Podcast. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
It's Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
The state of Texas can require voter ID for mail-in ballots.
It's not required already.
But Joe Biden got 82 million legal votes, Nigel. If you think otherwise, you might as well put the tinfoil hat on, okay? I don't think it's asking too much to have some sort of proof that you're a legal citizen in your mail-in ballot. Find a way.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
At Quality Supply and Tool, now through September 26th, or while supplies last, there's a huge DeWalt sale going on. Save big on 20-volt max kits, bare tools, and batteries. Pros will love the rod and cable cutting plus crimping kits, while Dad will love the new 20-volt cordless DeWalt drill, Bluetooth speaker, job site fan, and hand vac. The sale's at all 4 Quality Supply and Tool locations in Bloomington, West Lafayette, Indianapolis, and Jeffersonville. Whether you're a pro during the week or want to work like one on weekends, Quality Supply and Tool thinks outside the box. Store.
An official message from Medicare.
I'm saving money on my Medicare prescriptions. Maybe you can save too. With Medicare's Extra Help program, my premium is $0 and my out-of-pocket costs are low. Who should apply? Single people making less than $24,000 a year, or married couples who make less than $32,000. Even if you don't think you qualify, it pays to find out.
Go to ssa.gov/extrahelp. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Casey, we do this every single week. We're like, man, there's a lot going on with Indiana politics and government.
I know, and it's summer. It's really not supposed to be this way.
Yeah, usually. There was a time where post-legislative session, you were like, what will we talk about?
What's going on? Nothing.
And
not right now.
Now there's always plenty of stuff. And to help us work through it, one of the best in the business, she runs the Indiana Capital Chronicle. Her name is Nikki Kelly. Nikki Kelly, hello.
Good morning.
Okay, let's start with what I think we all would view as a win for humanity, which is bad news for Todd Rokita. We talked about this at length the last couple days. The disciplinary commission, Todd Rokita, the attorney general, back in front of them. It's the song that never ends, and this 3-judge panel who will decide his fate seems to not be messing around. Your interpretation?
Yeah, I mean, when I read their ruling, I mean, I think what I took from it is, you know, he wants to call out the commission's motives and not focus on his actions. And they basically said, we're not playing that game. Like, this is about what you said and what you did, and not about who's on the commission or why they brought the charge or anything like that.
This is the second time for him. Last time the ruling was 3-2 from the Supreme Court. Will make the ultimate ruling. Can you picture a world, like this is what I struggle with. I think they'd love to throw him down the toilet, but can you picture a world where they say, hey, this guy got elected to public office and we're essentially going to unelect him by taking his law license?
I really can't. I could picture a world short-term suspension, and then he's automatically reinstated. That obviously happened to former Attorney General Curtis Hill. He was allowed to keep his office. He just had basically a chief deputy run it for that 30 days. I could see that, but I think that's, we'll see. It really takes a lot to disbar someone in Indiana.
Have you ever seen that happen? You've covered Indiana politics and government for a long time. Have you ever seen a high profile with a judge or a prosecutor get disbarred?
I mean, I've seen disciplinary cases where people get disbarred. They're usually, older attorneys who don't respond to the events. They're basically checked out and done with their career. So that's kind of what happens. But, very few cases actually even become a charge from a complaint status, and then even fewer from there get any sort of suspension. It is very rare.
That's sort of like me with here at the radio station. I'm just kind of done with my career, so when they call me to meetings, sometimes I just don't.
You might show up, maybe. Hey, Nikki, I'm curious. The panel said that they weren't going to entertain any more motions for delay or anything like that, and that all discovery had to be completed by November 12th. Are you expecting anything more to come out?
Yeah, probably not much. They also did still encourage mediation among the parties, which is interesting. You very rarely see mediation in an attorney discipline case. Usually they can come to an agreement, but I think everyone on both sides of this case are so kind of entrenched in their position that I would be shocked if there was some sort of agreed settlement, especially since that's the way it went down the first time. And, why we're back here the second time, because he agreed to a settlement and seemed to back off of it pretty quickly.
Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capital Chronicle is our guest. All right, the other big story right now is the lawmakers going to Washington. It's so weird, Nikki, because you can't really seem to get like a straight answer on what the meeting was actually supposed to be about. It seems like a bunch of people met with a bunch of different people. Do we have a clear story now on what took place in Washington?
Yeah, and one thing your audience should know is this is not specific to Indiana. They have done these for other states when he was in office before, and recently this term. I think Ohio recently had one. They invite legislators in to learn about what the administration is doing on a number of topics. And that was the initial invite before all this redistricting stuff came up. Obviously, then J.D. Vance shows up, and Indiana gets tossed in the middle of this fight. And, so while they were discussing things like immigration and energy and, other issues that are important to the Trump administration, definitely took time to talk about redistricting too. And most of that was, all the lawmakers were in this conference. There were certain members from the administration who spoke, including the vice president, I think the Secretary of Energy. On top of that, we've confirmed, and I think Politico first reported, that Speaker Houston and Senate President Bray did have a direct meeting with President Trump himself.
You got a ability to read the tea leaves on this? I mean, Braun was on with Hammer and Nigel yesterday, and he was, again, super non-committal. And it's like the longer you drag this on, it seems like the worse it would be for you. Like, are they still trying to count if they have enough people? What is going on?
Well, yeah, they don't want to call a special session unless they have the votes. That would be worse than anything. So I think they were waiting until this meeting to see how that went, and they'll probably be doing some whip counts on that. Honestly, at this point, I just want them to make a decision. If you're going to have it, set it. Let us get our lives back, you know. But last week I would have said, absolutely, it's happening. This week, some people, I think Representative Lucas said he's a little more open, but other people who went said, nope, I'm still against it. Representative Becky Cash, for example. So, yeah, they're going to be doing a lot of whipping. I from a journalist transparency perspective, it's frustrating that the Republican leaders of Indiana are refusing to say where they're at on this topic for weeks and weeks and weeks at a time.
Yeah, do you think the longer it takes, the more likely it's not going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, at some point they have to get it going, right? Because they have to draw maps, they have to put together a special session, they have to decide whether they're going to, if they're going to do this, are they going to at least have a modicum of public hearings, things like that, or are they just going to, I don't know, suspend rules and do it all in a day? I mean, they have to make all those decisions. And remember that filing deadlines for congressional seats starts in January, so this isn't something they can, wait around on too much longer.
You had mentioned that Houston and Bray had met with Donald Trump. Any idea what was talked about in that meeting? And as a journalist, how do you find that information?
I mean, if there are only 3 people in the room, which I don't know for sure, there might have been some others too, but I know those 3 people are in the room. We need them to talk, and they're not telling us what's talked about. So, we just have to wait and see.
You guys had Nikki Kelly from the Capitol Chronicle is our guest. You guys had an interesting article. I forget the name of the lady, but she's like an elections attorney, civil rights attorney. And she made an interesting point about, hey, when we do these maps, you're supposed to go get public input. You're supposed to go across the state. They spent months and months the last time they did these maps because you're supposed to try to draw them fair. There's no way they're doing that this time, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that they would have time to do that. And that is something that, Houston and Bray in 2021 were very proud to do, even though that was on a weird schedule because of COVID. The numbers came late. They still made a point of getting public input around the state. And so I would think at most we would see hearings here in Indianapolis, but that would obviously be a downgrade for the process that, lawmakers in Indiana have had for several of the last decades.
Okay, hey, before we let you go, you had an interesting opinion piece. I think you share the viewpoint that we do. We are in big trouble on energy in this state, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better.
No, I was speaking at an event this week, and, the first thing people wanted to talk about was utility prices, not property tax, utility prices. And I think we're at this tipping point where people are pretty much done with it. So I would be shocked if lawmakers didn't have to come forward with some more immediate ways to help consumers. I mean, it's one thing to talk about small modular nuclear reactors 20 years from now, but, we need to know how we can help our bills now. And part of that is these rate increases that are constant or seem constant at least and rarely get turned down at the IURC. Obviously, Governor Braun is going to get to appoint a new IURC director soon, so maybe he can put a focus on really putting consumers first instead of utility shareholders.
You had mentioned that you think the first step is that the legislators have to acknowledge that there is a problem. Were you surprised to hear Governor Braun say that yesterday when he was talking with Hammer and Nigel?
No, I think they started to say it this session, at least starting to feel it out and realize. And now that we've seen different rate examples, we've seen some studies come out showing how much they've grown over a year. I mean, wow, these numbers are pretty hard to ignore.
Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capitol Chronicle. Find her at indianacapitalchronicle.com. You're the best. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The aftermath in Minneapolis. Skies are cloudy. It's 65. Today's high 75. I'm Jarrett Lewis. It's now 10:31. A prayer vigil held in Richfield, Minnesota for the victims of the Minneapolis Catholic school shooting. Fox's Lillian Wu.
Hundreds turning out at one of the vigils to honor the 2 children killed and 17 others injured in a shooting during Mass at the Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis. Packing a school gymnasium a few miles from where the shooting took place, mourning alongside Governor Tim Walz and clergy members, including Archbishop Bernard Hebda.
How tragic that was, and yet in the midst of that, there was courage, there was bravery, but most especially, there was love.
Lillian Wu, Fox News.
President Trump's crackdown on crime in Washington, D.C. resulting in 1,100 arrests made so far, as Mayor Muriel Bowser says carjackings are also down double digits. Bowser, though, did criticize the use of masked ICE agents in neighborhoods and said relying on out-of-state National Guard troops was inefficient. The AP poll showed that a majority of those surveyed disapprove of the president seizing control of local police departments. A top Florida official says that alligator Alcatraz, the migrant detention facility in the Florida Everglades, could be empty in a matter of days after a judge's ruling to wind down operations there. The judge halting construction at the detention center as attorneys argue that it violates environmental laws. Border Star Tom Homan joined Fox's America's Newsroom with reaction to that.
It's sitting on existing concrete that was already there in the airport. So I don't understand the judge's ruling. I think it's a radical decision. I think it's really about anti-immigration enforcement rather than the conditions of the facility. I was there.
Meanwhile, several lawmakers who have visited the facility have reported witnessing people held in cages, unsanitary eating conditions, and a man who said he had been hospitalized for days. And director James Gunn is ruling out having Chris Pratt play Batman in the DC universe, but expressed interest in seeing him in another role. Actors like Jensen Ackles and Alan Ritchson have expressed their interest in playing Batman for Gunn's movie. I'm Jarrett Lewis on The Level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Don't let pneumococcal pneumonia break your stride. If you're 50 or older, you're at increased risk. So be proactive with Capvaxive pneumococcal 21-valent conjugate vaccine to help protect against invasive pneumococcal disease and pneumonia caused by certain types of pneumococcal bacteria. Capvaxive helps protect against the strains of bacteria that cause about 30% more IPD cases than any other pneumococcal conjugate vaccine in adults over 50, according to national-level CDC stats. Regional variations may exist. Don't get Capvaxive if you're allergic to the vaccine or its ingredients. Tell your doctor if you have a weakened immune system. Common side effects include injection site reactions, feeling tired, headache, muscle aches, and fever. Capvaxive does not protect against all strains. For more information, call 1-800-927-8888 or visit capvaxive.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Capvaxive. Need help paying for your Merck vaccine? Visit merckhelps.com. Sponsored by Merck.
Well, summer's still hot, and so are the deals at Tom Roush Lincoln. Right now, get 0% for up to 48 months on 2025 Lincoln Aviator and Nautilus, or 0.9% for 72 months on 2025 Grand Touring Corsair. Or how about a $50,000 Lincoln Corsair from just $499 per month? So come get one of those hot summer deals at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
MSRP $52.20, 36-month term, $2,500 due at signing, $499 a month, 10,500 miles per year. Good through 8/31/25.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number biggest sale of the year. All beds on sale up to 50% off the limited edition smart bed. Plus free premium delivery with any smart bed and adjustable base. Ends Labor Day. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Buying a diamond has changed. There are mined and lab-grown diamonds. Pierce Jewelers carries both. Pierce can educate you and save your hard-earned money. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
Dirty Diego, oh, Dirty Diego, oh, Dirty Diego, oh, Dirty Diego, oh.
The docile tones of one Jerry Lopez at Indy Spanglish on Twitter, with our own producer Kev putting the backing tracks, as the kids would say, throwing down some backing tracks. That is the official theme song of Diego Morales, the Indiana Secretary of State, because, well, he is a dirty, dirty dude. And this is the Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. You know, one of the things that's hilarious about Diego, and many of these politicians are this way, they can't human.
It's true. It's true. Just be normal.
Remember when By the way, did you see Gabe Whitley is back behind bars again?
I didn't know he was out. That seemed like that went really quick.
Yeah, well, he only got a 3-month sentence.
How did he get back?
I realize we're ping-ponging right now. So Gabe Whitley was this failed congressional candidate who ended up going to federal prison for lying about the campaign finance reports, inventing people who didn't give him money. And he would spend, it was supposed to be 3 months in Thompson, Illinois, in a federal prison, and he got out. But somehow he has ended up, according to my case, back behind bars here in Marion County. Ooh. I was told it's because he didn't want to put the ankle monitor on, and they like failure to report or something. I don't know. Yeah, I've got it posted up at Robin Kendall on Twitter.
Marion County Jail is a little scarier than where he was previously.
According to my case, he's got some sort of hearing on Friday. Abdul said he's going. So he wasn't out but a couple days, and now he's, according to my case, back behind bars. Anyway, remember in the federal sentencing hearing where his excuse on why he falsified the reports was he couldn't read the room? And the judge was like, what?
Yeah.
You made up a bunch of people because you couldn't
read the room?
Diego is literally someone who cannot. Now, Diego's is because he's a narcissistic idiot who can't read the room. But this clip we're about to play you is just like the most prime example of this. This guy, and it's like everywhere he goes, people just look at him like, what's wrong with this person?
He just grabbed the microphone and stepped right up, didn't he?
Like a drunk guy at a wedding, right? Kev, you've been to weddings where people have been intoxicated. You ever seen somebody just grab the mic and start saying bizarre stuff?
A couple times.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's time for the best man's toast.
Yeah.
And comes Uncle Steve again.
Like remember when at that motor vehicle advisory board meeting where he started screaming about WIBC and the people are just trying to eat their lunch?
Fake news.
Yeah, the fake WIBC.
Yeah.
What? Like we're just here for motor vehicle stuff. What is happening? What is it like? But it's the narcissism. These people are so self-absorbed. People like Diego Morales, and there's many of these other politicians. They think everything is about them. Everything has to be about them, and they have to let you know how great they are at every single thing. And so this audio we're about to play for you, the Monroe, that's Bloomington, right? The Monroe County GOP has some sort of opening for their office, right? And so...
And the Bloomington Chamber of Commerce were on hand to help them celebrate the opening.
Yeah, they joined the Bloomington Chamber, and as customary, if you're a new member, typically you'll get the chamber to come out and just do. It's a very simplistic thing, like,
it's a ribbon cutting.
Yeah, thanks for being here. It's great we're glad you're a member of the chamber. Usually, then you have the big scissors and you do a snip. Like, it's not some uber political function. It's not a Republican rally. Nobody's there for you, Diego. Most people don't even know who you are. And so the guy who's the head of the chamber, I think I actually went to high school with this guy. That's the guy, the chamber rep that's there. I think he's I think it's the county council there in Monroe County. I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The guy's like, do we have all this where he's doing the introduction and he's saying some names? And then you'll hear, and Diego is so small, both in stature and in his humanity. He is so small. It looks like some little child has next to the adults. Like if you had a little kid has grabbed the microphone and just launches into this bizarro rant about how great
the Morales administration is.
And you can't see it because it's radio, but the looks on these people's faces are, and these are Republican people.
They're like, what's he doing?
Yeah, okay, Kev, go.
And we also have Secretary of State Diego Morales here. We'll hear a few words.
Well, thank you. As you know, we're in charge of elections. I'm proud to tell you that Indiana's ranking number 7 when it comes on election integrity in the nation under the Morales administration. But also, we're in charge of business services, and I've been focusing on growing our businesses here in Indiana. We've been working with Chamber of Commerce's economic developments. My message is Indiana is open for business. We're here to help you. Come and invest here in Indiana. Thank you.
You know what a normal person would say? Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here in Bloomington. I wish the Monroe County GOP the best luck. Thanks for inviting me today.
Right. No, instead he had to point out he's part of the Morales administration.
What is that?
And that they rank number 7th in the nation for election integrity. How do you rank that?
Yeah, what does that mean, election integrity? And My other favorite thing with Diego, and for some reason, Holly Sullivan, Connie Lawson, Todd Rokita, they just let him get away with it. He basically takes a giant dump on all of his predecessors and acts as though the only reason anything exists is because of him.
Right.
That there was no there
was no Secretary of State.
This is the question I keep asking all the Diego supporters. Can you point in the past 25 years in the state of Indiana to any widespread case of voter fraud? Now, I'm not saying that, there may have been someone who voted illegally. I'm certainly not disputing that. And that happens every election. But can you point to any sort of organized, widespread voter fraud in the past 25 years in the state of Indiana? And no one has ever been able to do that. No one has ever been able to show me some sort of coordinated, like he acts as though before him that there were just people hijacking the electoral system left and right, and the only reason that elections are free and or fair now is because of this goof.
Hey, whatever happened with his election law, the campaign? Do you remember the Marion County Election Board?
I think he's being investigated, isn't he? Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, we wanted to we will never miss an opportunity to crap all over this guy, because that's what he does to you, the taxpayer, on a consistent basis.
Fake news, Tiptoe Diego.
Fake news, WIBC. Hey, speaking of fake news, the guy who's always bringing real news, Jason Hammer, is going to join us next. Can we play him when we come back? Hammer asked Braun yesterday about Micah's chief of staff's idiot husband and the fact that he can't keep his yapper shut on social media.
First question.
Can we play Braun's answer for Hammer when we come back?
Hammer's up next on 93 WIBC.
On Tony Katz today, let's talk about Progressive's thoughts and prayers comments. And is Tulsi Gabbard really up for the job? That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text SAVVY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text SAVVY to 42424. That's SAVVY to 42424.
Let's talk for a second about our guy, our friend, amazing Hoosier Mark Dietl. Zillow ranks Indianapolis #2 among 2025's hottest markets. Home values have risen and are holding strong. Now is a great time to sell. Hire the team with proven systems to maximize your equity. Sell your home with our friend Mark Dietl. Maybe you want a fast, guaranteed, no-hassle home sale, but don't want to give up hard-earned equity to do it. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed-upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Dan and Casey in Indianapolis had to say about working with Mark Dietl. It was time to downsize, and we needed to sell our old house quickly at full value. Mark Dietl made it happen. We got our asking price in a few weeks without any repairs or an appraisal. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietl at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com.
Hey, what's up? It's Hammer from the Hammer and Nigel Show for my friends at Diamonds Direct. Keystone at the Crossing, right by the Green Bridge, and direct is the key word because they get their diamonds direct from the source. They eliminate the middleman, and then they pass those savings on to you. The biggest selection, the lowest prices. So guys, if you're thinking about popping the question, maybe over the holidays, now is the time to get to Diamonds Direct. When you walk in that beautiful showroom, Neve, he's the manager, he's awesome, and the sales staff, they always stay within your budget. There's no pressure for you to spend more than you're comfortable with. Chris is the sales rep that I work with. She's a rock star, but no matter who you work with, you're going to have a great experience. I always go to Diamonds Direct. You should join me. The best in the business. Diamonds Direct. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Bet365 is paying out before the final whistle.
Check out Bet365's unrivaled early payout offer. When you bet on a team to win and they take a 17-point lead, you get paid no matter the final score. Forget the final whistle and start counting that cash. Hold up. You get early payout on parlays, too.
Download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Indiana. T&Cs apply.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's JMV and Save at Miss M's Labor Day weekend sale. 20% off trees and shrubs and patio furniture. 30% off of pottery. State Road 135 in Bargersville. Closed Labor Day.
Snap it. Send it. Hear it. Your photos, your video, your voice on WIBC. Join the text club by texting WIBC to 317-239-9393.
Okay, we got a bunch of stuff to get to with Hammer, but Hammer, we have to start. That interview you guys did with Braun yesterday was fascinating. I thought you guys got to all the important stuff in a very short amount of time.
That's the key, right? We have a limited amount of time because of our clock in the afternoon. We got a lot of traffic. We've got a lot of commercials, and that's what keeps the lights on in the building, the commercials. So we have to be cognizant that we've got to get as much information in that the public wants to hear in a very short amount of time. So I appreciate you pointing that out. It's challenging at times.
I mean, you literally did the first two segments of our show today. You got so much information. Thank you. Okay, but one thing I wanted to say for you, and I love that you came out of the gate on the #1 rated afternoon show in Indianapolis.
First question.
Like I'm sitting there watching, like surely he was just joking. He's not going to actually come out just taking just a giant dump on this Stu guy. And boy, howdy, you sure did on this just idiot husband of Micah's chief of staff who keeps making her life so difficult because he can't stay off social media.
He is so jealous that his wife is a big deal and that he's not. It drives him insane. And people, are coming at me, well, why are you so hard on this guy if he's a nobody? One, he's not a nobody. He's married to the chief of staff. And listen, whether you like it or not, you are affiliated with the, group here.
He doesn't pass gas without her knowing about it. So for him to always be like, I'm not affiliated with the Micah Beckwith office.
And the thing that upsets me is, again, I said this yesterday, I'm rooting for Micah. I want him to do well. We're early on in the process here. It's probably late first quarter in the term, to put it in sports vernacular. I'm rooting for the guy. I hope that they figure things out and help the citizens of Indy. But this idiot is making not only Republicans, but church-going people or religious people or those who believe in God, this moron's making us all look like a bunch of brain-dead hicks because he can't shut up.
Yeah, and he's the guy who's apparently stooged on himself, the office, whatever, and said that there's a grand jury looking into Micah's office. Now, since numerous other people
Micah has denied it on our program.
Yeah, well, like I said, I've talked to two people who have testified to the Marion County Prosecutor's Office to give information to the grand jury. So you decide who you want to believe in that.
Correct.
But it doesn't, like, why would he make up the phrase grand jury? Like, where would that even come from?
And again, I don't know his wife. She may be a delight. She may be whatever. I have no idea. All I know is the last thing she needs is extra work on her plate. She's got to deal with a lot because Micah's a bit of a loose cannon, right? She's dealing with a lot of stuff, and this moron's not making her job any easier.
So yesterday, he had posted something about a news article or a written piece involving Steve Bannon or something, but then it was something about Republicans in Washington are gay.
They don't get anything done because they're gay.
Then he tried to back out of it and say, well, it was quoting somebody else. And it was like, but it was like, why would you post any of it?
There's always an excuse, right?
Yes.
There's always some sort of excuse when this moron gets called on his bullcrap. He's too stupid to know what to post and what not to post, but then he backtracks. Well, no. How about you shut up? And at this point, I'm sorry, if I'm Micah's chief of staff, if I'm Sherry Ellis, I look at my husband and go, give me your phone. I'm deleting your accounts right now because you're making my job difficult because you're a moron.
He thinks it's funny, though, Hammer. He's posting all the time on social media how great he thinks all this is.
Well, that's the thing, right? That shows you how insecure this guy is. His wife is a bigger deal than he is, but for whatever reason, he can't handle that. So he's got to be Johnny Hot Take on social media just to let everybody know that he still has a penis.
So you, at one point, you said the funniest thing I think I've ever heard. You said something to the effect of he should just sit in a chair in the corner and spin around.
That would be more productive of his time. It really would. And again, the reason I'm ticked off is this dude is making all of us look bad. He's so full of crap. Like everything a lib would say about an Indiana conservative, right? Oh, you're a bunch of church-going, hillbilly dumbasses. Well, then here comes the husband of the chief of staff to verify everything that the haters would say.
All right, so in a Marconi-worthy move, you had the governor of the state of Indiana on it, and right out of the gate, you just asked Braun about the guy.
We did.
Kev, here's what he had to say.
I've got a screenshot here from Stuart Ellis. Quote, if you wonder why the GOP never advances conservative interests, it's because they're gay. No, seriously, the staffers are largely homosexual and do not hold conservative values.
That is the husband of Micah's chief of staff.
Correct. What good does this serve, Governor? Like when you see this stuff out on social media, I know you can't control everybody. He's got the right to say it. I get it. But at the end of the day, you're the guy at the top of this ticket. Does this tick you off?
It does because it repeats itself. And I think I've used the term clean up on aisle 5. That gets to be old. You shouldn't be putting stuff out there that's getting on the news in that way. And I think you're going to have to find a way to throttle it back. Otherwise, it's going to become the topic.
Kev, can we just play Hammer reading what the guy posted again? We don't even need Braun's answer. I was rolling. I was rolling on the floor crying, hearing you read this to Braun.
It was just a quote. It wasn't anything.
And watching Braun's face because he got the camera set up.
He took his second sip of beer. Like, oh, no.
Can you just play this again?
I've got a screenshot here from Stuart Ellis. Quote, if you wonder why the GOP never advances conservative interests,
Here we go.
It's because they're gay. No, seriously.
Okay, the pause is just perfect. And Braun's face, he's got that beer in his hand.
He does, and he took his second sip. That's like one of those moments that the YouTube feed is so amazing because you can see his face.
So good.
Again, I'm rooting for Micah. I want the state to do well, but it's hard when you surround yourself with people like this guy. And I know he's not part of the official ticket, but let's cut the crap. He's in the mix here. If you're married to the chief of staff, you're in the mix.
He knew enough to know there was a grand jury investigation. He must be in the mix somehow.
I want to ask you, what did you think about Braun's answer? He said this is like clean up in aisle 5, because I was really thinking about this probably more than I needed to. Aisle 5 at my grocery store is sheets and towels. If you want to talk like pickles with the juice and the pickles and the shards of glass, a real cleanup, that's aisle B12, section 33. Right? Like, when was the last time Braun went to the grocery store himself? But when is the cleanup? He said, when is the mop coming out and the wet floor caution cones?
Right. I'm wanting now to see almost like the rap wars of the 90s, like the East Coast against the West Coast. I want the Braun team to go at it with the Beckwith team.
That's what we need
at this point. Maybe not even necessarily Braun and Beckwith, but their staff members.
Yeah.
Listen, the last thing I think this country needs is just lifelong political people doing things.
That's right.
But you have to have somebody that knows what they're doing. And I'm sorry, but it should be Sherry at Micah's staff pulling her husband aside and going, give me your phone.
Yeah. And in fairness, I warned Stu. I said, you think I'm bad. You have no idea what sort of Pandora's box you've opened with this guy, because he's the most vengeful, spiteful, mean and I say this all as a compliment.
Thank you.
Person I've ever met, and he did not take that seriously.
Well, everybody needs to understand what's going on here. Some insecure dude is making the entire group look bad. His wife is successful, but he has such insecurities. He's got to be Johnny Hot Take on social media. Look at me. I'm still a man. I've got a functioning crank. Pay attention to me. There are times I wonder.
What are we doing this afternoon? What's going on?
You are going to come by.
Oh, that's right.
We're going to go off the rails, and then around 1 o'clock, we're dropping a very big Degenerates Next Door podcast.
Big game. One
Big
versus
games.
two, baby. Ohio State, Texas.
All right, Andrew Ireland is going to join us next. State rep on the way in the name of transparency.
He's bringing receipts.
Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Community Health Network cares for your heart health. From heart scans and vascular screenings to complex heart procedures, you can count on our expert team for the highest quality cardiovascular care, when and where you need it. Your path to a healthy heart starts with knowing your risk. Schedule a heart scan or vascular screening today. Visit ecommunity.com/heart. Community Health Network. Exceptional care. Simply delivered.
An official message from Medicare.
I'm saving money on my Medicare prescriptions. Maybe you can save too. With Medicare's Extra Help program, my premium is zero and my out-of-pocket costs are low. Who should apply? Single people making less than $24,000 a year, or married couples who make less than $32,000. Even if you don't think you qualify, it pays to find out.
Go to ssa.gov/extrahelp. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show this Saturday and Sunday at the Tippecanoe County Fairgrounds in Lafayette. The best dealers in the region will be at the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show. Just $6 for adults. Kids 12 and under get in free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade. This Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Tippecanoe County Fairgrounds in Lafayette. For more info, visit centralindianagunshows.com.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
It's a flash sale at Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaning starting at only $119 plus a free hallway and $75 off duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResIndy.com.
For all your home's heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and drain needs, remember the man for all seasons, Chapman. AC tune-ups right now, only $89. Schedule online today at ChapmanHeating.com. That's ChapmanHeating.com.
In 2 minutes from the Technology Recyclers Studios, a new glimpse into the final years of Jim Irsay's life, where police found a UIndy student dead on Wednesday, and the charges dropped against a former Indy police officer. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
Searching for answers. Gianna Gelosi, Fox News. The FBI launching a hate crime investigation following the deadly shooting at a back-to-school mass in Minneapolis. The community came together for a vigil, mourning after a gunman opened fire through the stained glass windows of a Catholic church, killing 2 kids who were praying and injuring 17 others.
Hundreds of people came together relying on their faith and each other. Pope Leo sent a message. After the shooting, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Congresswoman Ilhan Omar thanked the White House for immediately asking what what the community needs. But Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry said more needs to be done to prevent gun violence. The gunman is identified as Robin Westman, a 23-year-old born as Robert Westman. He and his parents filed to change his name to Robin in 2019 because he identified as female. Westman's exact motive still hasn't been explained by authorities.
And that's Fox's Nate Foy in Minneapolis. Now, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem claims the shooter had a rifle with the words "for the children" on it. Meanwhile, reactions are pouring in following the shooting, but some are accused of taking the opportunity to play politics, like former White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki.
Jen Psaki did not wait for any information at all about the shooter or about the motive before she took to X to post the following. Prayer is not freaking enough. Prayers do not end school shootings. Prayers do not make parents feel safe sending their kids to school. Prayer does not bring these kids back. Enough with the thoughts and prayers. And then, when kids are getting shot in their pews at a Catholic school mass, and your crime plan is to have National Guard put mulch down around D.C., maybe rethink your strategy. On the Psaki point about the National Guard, Vice President Vance is telling USA Today, we don't want indefinitely to put National Guardsmen on the street of our cities. We just want to make those streets more safe. And even Democratic D.C. Mayor Bowser agrees.
And that is Fox's Peter Ducey reporting. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Learning more about his battle off the field. Skies are cloudy at 65 on Monument Circle. 76 is the high today. Could see some rain this afternoon. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Success in the NFL couldn't shield Jim Irsay from a battle off the field. Ryan Hedrick explains.
Even though Jim Irsay was known as a successful business owner, he was quietly dealing with opioid and ketamine use and a few overdoses over the past 5 years, says the Washington Post. In December of 23, he was found unresponsive at his Carmel home. The Colts said the next month that he was being treated for a severe respiratory illness and that he later spent 4 months recovering at Ascension St. Vincent in Indianapolis. Irsay was 65. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The University of Indianapolis Police Department and IMPD are investigating the death of a student found in an apartment at University Lofts. Officers came to the apartment at around 8:30 Wednesday night. They said they found a college-aged male deceased in not natural circumstances. University President Tanuja Singh released a statement saying they are cooperating with police and supporting the family. The student's identity has not been released at this time. State Police Sergeant John Bryan says officers shot and killed a man after he presented a firearm during a traffic stop in Decatur County Wednesday.
When they were taking the people out of the vehicle, the suspect who they were looking for, they were able to confirm that later, got out of the vehicle armed with a handgun, pointed the gun at officers. Those officers then were able to discharge their guns.
39-year-old Travis Manleaf of Greensburg was the wanted suspect. Police are now investigating if Manleaf discharged his weapon. A former Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department officer is found not guilty on charges of rape. Myron Howard admitted to having sex with a woman shortly after arresting her boyfriend for domestic battery. The prosecution argued that the encounter was non-consensual, while the defense claimed that it was. Howard was acquitted of all charges, including rape, criminal confinement, and official misconduct. And Colts general manager Chris Ballard says the team is not looking to trade quarterback Anthony Richardson after he was chosen to be the backup to Daniel Jones. He spoke to the press on Wednesday. The Colts will open the season Sunday, September 7th at Lucas Oil Stadium against the Miami Dolphins. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
It's time. You've been putting off that kitchen or bath remodel long enough. What are you waiting for? Get started today with Boer Remodeling. Boer Remodeling customer Kathy had a bath remodel with Boer. Kathy, talk a little bit about your experience.
Our experience with Boer has been terrific. The process was so easy and seamless. When we decided to do a larger remodel of our first floor, Boer was the first company we thought of hiring.
And were you happy with the results?
The results are amazing, and we are so happy with our home and the work that Boer did.
Peter is another recent Boer Remodeling customer with a new kitchen. Peter, what was the best part about working with Boer?
We especially liked the active participation that we were able to have in selection of stone for the countertops. Really came out beautiful. The cabinets also came out very, very well.
The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. They'll guide you through the entire process. Start with a free consultation. Talk to Boer Remodeling today. That's BOOHER, BoerRemodeling.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's Diamond Engagement Ring Store.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
We're about to teach the Indiana Secretary of State a little lesson in transparency.
I'm so excited about this. This is going to be an amazing segment.
And we'll learn about what happened to the White House. It'll be good for everyone.
Right.
Yeah, all right. It's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. Look who it is, our old pal, Indiana State Representative. He represents Indianapolis, Andrew Ireland. Andrew Ireland, hello.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Now, it's not often. Look, I give a lot for this show, Casey. And sometimes I have to put myself in a bad position in order to do something great for the radio broadcast. It is not often somebody gets a one-up on me on social media, but I said, if you're going to do that, you win, but let's get something good out of it. So Andrew was a part of the group that went to DC, and there was several articles written about how a lot of these people were probably going to put that tab on us, the taxpayer, and he had posted several photos looking wonderful, like $1 million like he always does. And I said something to the effect of, I said, you could have thanked the taxpayers. And then, touche to you, you responded, smooch both of my butt cheeks, a-hole. I paid for this myself.
Right.
And I said, okay, well done. And then you reached out and said, I'd be happy to show everybody how transparency works and bring all of my receipts.
That's right. That's right.
Now, before we get to the receipts, I do want to ask you, you did have the opportunity to have it taxpayer funded.
I think that's right. I think typically there's one policy-related event per year that reasonable expenses can be reimbursed, whether that's a conference or a trip to the White House, whatever that may be. If it's policy-focused, not political, then yeah, you could.
You could have done it, but you chose not to. Why?
You know, typically, if I can pay for it myself, I do well. My own, kind of private practice as an attorney. I don't really see any reason to put that on the taxpayer's dime if I don't need to.
I mean, we do give you money, right? It's not like you're running a soup kitchen being a state rep.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah, okay. So before we get to the receipts, because this is hilarious, tell us about the trip. And one of the things that you'd pointed out is, hey, they asked us to go away before the redistricting. I think you guys being the Republicans, have done a horrible job of giving information to the public about what exactly you were doing there, because all the story now centers around the redistricting stuff.
Well, I'll tell you, I always try to be very transparent. It's one of the reasons I'm here today, right? Is at the end of the day, you see all the reporting in the news and the kind of hyperventilating about what this was about. And, you must have been sitting down with the president for 10 hours and they're, trying to twist your arm. The reality is it wasn't. We've had an invite since sometime mid-late July to come out to the White House.
That was before J.D. Vance came here to Indiana.
Well, before J.D. Vance ever came to Indiana, redistricting really became a conversation here in Indiana. So I just want to make clear on that.
How does the invite work? Do you get like a nice card in the mail? Does Houston send out a group email? How does the invite actually work?
So you actually get an invitation by email from the White House.
Oh,
so,
I would think it was a joke, like one of those click here, and then you end up giving money to a
You'd think
Nigerian
somebody
prince.
was phishing you.
Yeah, no, but it's a real invite.
Believe it or not, I actually thought the same thing. The first time I saw that, I said, "What is that?" And I assumed that it was some sort of junk spam mail. Then somebody else sent me a text message about it, and I go, "Oh, okay, maybe that is real." So
that's very cool. So tell us about the meeting. You guys did talk about redistricting.
So there was a very small piece of it, I will say. So we were there for an entire day. You do kind of the normal tour that everybody else in the world can take if you can get scheduled at the White House.
Can you touch things? Are they very strict?
They told you don't touch the wall in the Red Room was the big thing. It's made of fabric.
You took the East Wing tour.
Yeah, took the East Wing tour.
Yeah.
So same thing that anybody else can do. Really cool. I've never been in the White House. Very excited about that. And then the afternoon was all policy focused. Met with people, throughout the White House who gave very specific proposals on what they're doing and things that Indiana can do to help them. I mean, everything from SNAP reform, as far as food stamp type benefits, to things like the death penalty. We have the federal death row here in Indiana. So they're actually subject to Indiana law as far as what means they can do to carry out justice. So
Terre Haute, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay, so did you get that's just why though? Why do they need you guys to all fly out there? I think that every person looks at that and goes, the timing is very interesting.
And you're just saying that's a total, that's all a coincidence that they sent you guys out there right as this whole thing was going on?
I got to say, I actually think it is this time. If you look at, there's actually about 6 or 7 other states that have also done this, including states that don't really have the ability to redistrict because their map is already, either unilaterally Republican or whatever that may be, right?
Right.
States that aren't in that conversation right now, they're also doing this same sort of trip. But the whole point is, in this administration, is trying to push some of the power back down to the states where it belongs. I think we've got a long way to go as far as that's concerned. But if you're going to do that, that means you have to have good partnerships and good leadership in the states to actually see those things through. And I appreciate that.
Andrew Ireland is our guest, Indiana State Rep. He was at the White House the other day. I mean, look, the main event is coming up here in a few minutes. He brought his receipts for his trip.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did Jim Lucas's mind get changed in 7 minutes then, right? I mean, these are the things that feed people, that some guy makes these repetitive, definitive statements.
He was a hard no.
And then he comes out of there, now my mind, what
open-minded.
What wowed the masses in 7 minutes? You see why people then walk out of there thinking this was about redistricting.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I'll let Jim speak for himself. The talk of redistricting was probably about all of 8 minutes of the 14 minutes that the vice president was in the room. So a very, very small piece of the day. I had already kind of made my decision one way or another before ever coming into that room, and I put it out publicly because I never want to look like somebody twisted my arm.
Now, can you can stay for another segment, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, very good. Because I want to ask him. Well, I mean, we've still got some time in this segment, but I want to make sure we get to the receipts next segment. Okay, so you are yes on redistricting.
I am.
Okay, so help me. You and we're gonna work through this here.
Yeah.
So the state voted 58% Republican, 38% Democrat. 7 of the 9 seats are Republican, which is 78%. The 2 areas that are Democrat, which are the region and Marion County, I think are Democrat areas. 70% of the House seats are Republican, 80% of the Senate seats are Republican. You don't think that's fair? Why?
Well, I'll tell you, I'll make a couple points. One, I think gerrymandering is bad. I do. And I know you've talked about it the last couple of weeks. I think you're not wrong on all of that. And in Indiana, while, yes, there is still a partisan slant to our maps, if you look at us versus pretty much every other state in the union, the Princeton Election Lab, for example, has, kind of their ratings. Indiana ranks the best. We actually have the
You dress like a guy who would fit at the Princeton Election Lab. Now, they wouldn't let me in the door, but you look like a guy that could fit at the Princeton Election Lab.
Well, and so let me say this. Listen, I would prefer to see a world where Congress steps up, does its job, and creates very clean and clear rules that all the states have to play by, so you don't get the mustache in Illinois, you don't get partisan gerrymandering. The reality is that the other side has been doing this for a long time, and Republicans have been doing it too, but certainly not as hard as Democrats have. And so on a national level, you have kind of 2 options, right? You can fight fire with fire, and you can go down that road, or you can rest on your laurels and say, we've got a good map, we did it the right way, but that means that on a national scale, Republican voters are going to be marginalized. And so, for the longest time, I think Republicans chose the map, we're going to do it the right way, we're going to rest on our laurels. We've got a guy in the White House now, though, that, kind of sees it a little differently, that he's ready to fight fire with fire.
Work for him. You work for me,
that.
Right? Like, I don't like any of you. I mean, I like you, you're fine, but I'm saying collectively as a party.
Appreciate that.
Why should I be funding your party function, right? Like, I mean, you guys, the Republicans have the House, they have the Senate, they have the presidency. It seems like the maps are working pretty well. I mean, you're an honest guy. You're basically admitting there is no, unlike Texas, who will say, we had 5 million people move in. You're saying this is a political function, right? Like, we're evening the score for Massachusetts or whoever.
Well, yeah, it's even in the playing field. I mean,
Okay.
there's a strategic disadvantage in the maps the way they are today because of partisan gerrymandering in Democrat states like Maryland, Massachusetts, Illinois that have really, moved the needle the other direction. So this is an opportunity now where you have somebody at the top, the leader of your party, that says, hey, I'm willing to take that fight on and fight fire with fire, and I respect that.
Andrew, we've been told that just a few years ago, there was so much care taken into redrawing the maps. And if there's going to be a special session, it's got to be done quickly. How much care and precision will be done this time?
Well, I'll say this.
Do you care?
You
don't care, do you?
I do care. I think that you want to get it right? And so I'm a yes on special session, but I'm not necessarily a yes on the map. I want to see the ultimate map. For example, you had to draw an 8-1 map, and all of a sudden Andre Carson's still my congressman. That's another conversation, right? That's where the South Side used to be.
Are we hearing you say you want the 9-0 map?
Listen, I think if you're going to do it, that's certainly part of the conversation, right? I think you should have a map that generally reflects the population of Indiana. Right now, Indiana is 60-40 Republican. That switches to Democrats in the future, they'll have an opportunity to draw that map too.
So this is what I don't understand, though. I feel like it is a reflection of the state. If the state is 60-40 or 58-38 or whatever, you've got 7. They've got 2. The areas that they have, I don't think anybody thinks Indianapolis is a red city or that the Chicagoland area is red. It sounds like we do have, other than we just want to settle the score for another state, which you're the most honest guy. Like, you're the guy saying it, right? And that's why I'm fine with you. Sure. Because you're being honest, and we can have a disagreement about this. Everybody else, they try to come up with all this hodgepodge of stuff, and it's like, no, you're just making me pay for there to be more Republicans.
Well, I'll say this too. I think there's been a lot of cost about the conversation about the cost piece of it, and yes, there is a cost to it. I don't want to hide things. I always try to be very transparent with people. I will say, as much as I get frustrated with the Republicans in Washington, I think there's a real cost of having a Democrat majority in Washington, particularly one that was there by rigged gerrymandering in the first place. So this helps level the playing field, and ultimately, Republicans still have to go win. I mean, that's the other part of it. Is you still have to sell your ideas. You still have to win. But at the end of the day, if we can level the playing field and you win, I think that's a better bargain for the American people than the other way around.
All right, I want to see these receipts, Casey. I'm so excited.
You said when you talked to J.D. Vance that it was only about 14 minutes and 7-8 minutes was redistricting. What were the other 6 minutes?
He was really kind of talking about, his experiences in Indiana. So he grew up in Cincinnati. Indiana was right on the other side of the border there. So he spent a lot of time just kind of talking about his personal connection to the state, relationship to some of the folks in the room as well, and then just kind of laying out what they've been up to, and again how Indiana might fit into that puzzle on the national level, just from a policy perspective. So again, I mean, everything from death penalty to SNAP benefits, Medicaid. There are a lot of state-specific conversations in Indiana that have to happen too.
All right, we're going to talk about the receipts coming up.
Who is the biggest fanboy? Who acted ridiculous at every one of these events, or some person that doesn't act like they've been there before? Who was the ridiculous guy?
I don't know. I was pretty excited. I don't know if it was me.
Selfies?
Yeah. I couldn't tell you. I don't take a lot of selfies, honestly.
All right. So Andrew Ireland is our guest, Indiana State Rep, and you paid for your trip out of your own little slush fund you've got there in that massively growing bank account, and so you said, I will be happy in the name of transparency, even though some of our statewide elected officials don't want to do this. I'll be happy to show you all the receipts for my trip. And you're going to do that when we come back?
That's right.
Awesome.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Sun's up, the coffee is brewing, and Tony Katz is your morning information barista.
Tony Katz, good to be with you.
Clarity.
We're not interested in having this debate. We're only interested in honestly addressing the issue.
Context.
We should not present this in any other light. The objective is the destruction of Western civilization.
And a little caffeine.
Only the Constitution should rule.
Tony Katz in the Morning News. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 93 WIBC.
This back-to-school season, we know you have enough on your mind. That's why Hubler's got you and your family covered for 100,000 miles. Now through Labor Day, shop over 2,000 vehicles at any of our 13 convenient locations. Buy with zero down. Choose from all makes and models. Certified, luxury, even the hard-to-find ones. Yes, zero down delivers. Plus, we'll pay top dollar for your trade. Bring us your old car for an immediate appraisal on the spot. So head back to school in a Hubler Q certified vehicle with a free Carfax history report and a 128-point vehicle inspection. Hubler's got you covered. For 100,000 miles, visit drivehubler.com or any of our 13 convenient locations and spend less on back to school. Through Labor Day, zero down delivers at Hubler. Cover me. Select models approved credit. Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer. Let's go!
Hi, this is Chris Cox, owner of Chimney Solutions, Indiana. We're celebrating our 10th year in business. Call this month to take advantage of 10% off all chimney sweeps and inspections. We're also celebrating the opening of our new fireplace showroom on 86th Street and Lafayette Road. Come and experience our exclusive lines of wood-burning and gas fireplaces.
Call 317-557-6979 or chimneyindy.com.
Tune in to the Absolute Retirement Planning Show.
When retirement comes about, we're now relying on what we have saved to meet those needs.
Sundays at 9 a.m. right here on 93 WIBC.
Make summer nights unforgettable with Indy Decorative Concrete. Get 50% off a stunning fire pit with their best stamped concrete patio package. Offer ends September 1st. IndyDecorativeConcrete.com.
Okay, we're about to have a lesson in transparency, Casey. Andrew Ireland, state rep, is here, and he in a moment is going to show us the receipts from his trip to
Washington,
D.C. All right, so I feel like we should just set the tone on this, or set the table on this. Why we are very pleased Andrew's coming in and doing this, because we have new listeners in all the time. Most people know the story, but just very quick. So the Secretary of State, Diego Morales, disappeared to India for 10 days during the legislative session. Blew off his budget session, wouldn't tell anybody where he was, and then finally came out on the internet he was in India. And he then said, well, nobody should be worried about this because no taxpayer dollars were used.
Right.
And we said, well, now we're actually more worried about this because nobody gives you something for nothing. Who paid for you to go on this mysterious, magical mystery tour to India? Oh, by the way, the guy, Raju, who has a mysterious $80,000 contract with his office, went with him and was bragging about selling visa access while he was there. And we know a venture capitalist was over there as well from here in Indiana. So, yeah, lots of questions about what was going on. He said, no, I'm not going to tell you. We said, why? He said, well, I'm very concerned they're going to be protested. We said, that's very weird. Okay, don't believe that for a second. So we kept up the pressure. Then finally came out one day, Diego did, and said, well, good news. I paid for India.
I paid for it.
We were like, well, you already said somebody else paid for India. He said, I paid the money back.
Yeah, so you didn't pay for the trip. You reimbursed for the trip.
Yeah, and we said, we don't believe you, and we'd like to see proof of that. And so then Diego and I had a very spirited back and forth at the Clay County Lincoln Day. He had the dry mouth. The arms were flailing. He was shouting. And then at one point, he bizarrely said, well, you show me your paycheck, and I'll show you proof I paid the money back. And I said, you mean you want to see my paycheck from a private company? He said, yeah, show me yours, and I'll show you mine. I said, deal, dude. And then, well, then it got weird.
Got a little squirrely?
Well, they kept sending us cryptic messages. His communications person did. And then finally they agreed to show us the check. And then we said, okay, well, obviously we would be complete dumbasses if we didn't insist on seeing, one, that the check was actually cashed, and two, what you paid for to know that you actually paid the money back. And he said, I ain't doing that. So that's where we are today.
Right.
But Andrew Ireland said, I'll show you all the expenses for my trip and proof that I paid for it. You didn't pay for it, anything as a taxpayer. He joins us now. Andrew Ireland, hello, by the way. I feel like you're just caught in the crossfire of all this. Good to see you again. Okay, how much did you spend roughly on your trip to Washington, D.C.?
Probably about $600 all in.
That's pretty good. That includes a flight and everything?
Flight, everything.
You didn't stay, though. You guys came back that night?
So I got in the day before. I had a bunch of filings to do for my day job. I'm an attorney, so I've spent most of the day in the hotel room working.
Oh, and so it includes hotel? You did that with the flight and hotel for $600?
Flight and hotel.
Would you eat Cheetos the whole time?
McDonald's, actually.
Of course. All right, so Casey, you have the receipts?
I have the receipts.
Are you cool if we show them? I don't want to put any of your personal stuff up. I've seen them. They are legitimate.
So here's what I would like for you to do, Rob.
Yes, Casey.
Get your calculator out.
Oh, yes.
And keep a running total.
Okay, very good.
Okay, so we'll have an exact number. Before we get to the actual receipts.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off. Why did you have no problem showing us your receipts?
I've nothing to hide. I think transparency is a helpful thing in government. We should see more of it, not less.
Very good. Go ahead, Casey.
Did you leave Washington, D.C. feeling like you accomplished something? I mean, I've been to like radio conferences, and after I left them, I felt motivated, and I want to go do that, and just really inspired. So I don't have a problem with any of the reps going to Washington, D.C. for the day or even an overnight if it helps them become better legislators when they're back in Indiana. I think that's a small price to pay. especially if I'm not paying for it. So did you feel like that when you left? Like it was a good experience for you to go so that you'll be a better lawmaker?
Yeah, I think it was really helpful. I mean, there are two very specific policy pieces coming out of that I'll be working on, coming into next session. I mean, one is reform to food stamp SNAP benefits within Indiana. Specifically, there was a proposal in 2016 about basically doing like blue apron boxes where you're taking, the middleman out. You're not using these kind of EBT cards, but instead you are delivering healthy food directly to somebody's door. I think there's something to be really said for that. But then the other piece of it, too, is the death penalty. So the federal death row is here in Indiana in Terre Haute. And so they are subject to Indiana law and Indiana methods of carrying out executions. And that means lethal injection, which is a very expensive method to, really carry out justice. So
yeah, why can't we just shoot people?
That might be on the table. We'll see, right?
Very good. Excellent.
So you're saying because of this trip, you are coming back when session begins, you are directly authoring bills based on what you learned.
That's exactly right.
Okay. And I say about 2% of the people who went with you will do it the way you did it. But I'm a cynic.
Yeah, how many people do you think paid themselves?
Honestly, I couldn't begin to tell you. I will say that the couple of people I've talked to about it, they are actually paying, out of their own pocket for this one, too.
Now, if we
Can
didn't
they pay partial?
So you're only entitled to reasonable expenses, right? So my guess is that if they, they wanted to go out and have a steak dinner, they're not going to get reimbursed for that. But maybe their airfare, for example, if they had a reasonable flight and a reasonable time, would be covered.
Okay. All right. Casey, you have the receipts.
I've got 'em.
Let's work through these here. And Andrea said he's fine if she puts them up on the screen for people to people to see.
And they come in different sizes. We've got little ones. We've got big ones. Okay, you ready with the total?
Yeah, I got it. Very
okay,
good.
Here we go. First one, $384.96.
Okay, very good.
That was for American Airlines, and
That's a round trip ticket to and from Washington D.C.
That's if you plan it out in advance.
That's pretty good.
I'm paying $404 when I go tomorrow.
Oh, so that's
within
it's in the
reason.
ballpark.
Yep. Okay. Next we have this is McDonald's, $5.88.
You remember what you got?
I think that was a McGriddle.
This was this at the airport?
That was the Indy Airport, yes.
Yep. Okay.
$5.88.
Mm-hmm. You've got a $12 American Airline Wi-Fi charge, and he paid for this in Fort Worth, Texas. So you obviously had to fly down to Dallas.
I think it's because they're based in Texas.
Oh, okay. That's where the billing goes. $12 for Wi-Fi on the plane.
Just to be able to access the internet on the plane?
Yeah, you're telling me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, $15.50. And this is an all-day Metro Pass. Now, tell everybody who is not familiar with the Metro what that is in Washington, D.C.
The train in D.C., so if you don't want to spend $50 on each Uber ride to get around, the train is definitely the cheapest option.
Okay, and if you're just joining us, Andrew Ireland, State Rep, is our guest. He's revealing his receipts for his trip to Washington, D.C., because that's what transparency looks like when you have absolutely nothing to hide. And this is important because this is the exact thing. This is the only thing we have asked the Secretary of State to do. We don't need to know who he paid the money back to. We just want to see the receipts, what it was for, and what the check was for. So if you're tuning in, this is why we're doing this.
Okay, we continue on. This is actually in Washington, $184.36.
Okay.
And this was for the hotel, booked on hotels.com.
That's expensive.
That's the Hilton Gardens. That's a 3-star hotel.
Well, I don't care. It's your money. You stay at the 5-star. I don't care.
You stayed at HGI? Is that what that was?
I'll tell you, it's serviceable. It's probably not the nicest hotel in the world, but it's very close to the White House, so it was very convenient.
Did you have to tell your wife, like, I'm going to Washington D.C. and I'm going to pay for this myself? Like, do you have to have a conversation with your wife about that?
Anytime I spend money, I always spread it. I'm about as cheap as it gets. She knows that too, so she never really has to worry.
Very good.
Continuing on with the receipts, Rob, you still going?
Yes, I've still got it.
Okay, $5.81. This was for a coffee in Washington, D.C.
Oh, man.
This must have been the morning of the meetings at the White House.
It may have been. Yeah, that's right.
He's going to wake up. He's going to have some
That's
coffee.
right. Yeah, very
Makes
good.
sense. That's an expensive, expensive coffee, by the way.
Yeah.
$5.81. Here we go. More food.
I love that he printed all these.
$7.90. And this is for McDonald's. And this is, where was this? This was in Washington, D.C. Oh, you were right by K Street. Okay.
It's about 3 blocks from the White House. That is a McDouble and a drink.
Think about this. Not only can he tell you what he bought, he can explain it to you in intricate detail.
Yeah. Here we go. $52.92.
Yeah.
This is for the Old Ebbitt Grill. on 15th Street in Washington,
That
D.C.
sounds like a place with expensive food.
Okay, yeah. So this was the big dinner.
This was the big dinner. Listen, some folks might have had oysters or steaks, and I might have taken a little heat for it, but I had a Reuben and a couple of beers.
That's what they charge for a Reuben and a couple of beers?
You're telling me. And then that's the tip, too, and everything else.
Yeah,
and I try to be generous.
Good grief.
Now, if you could look on the map, this restaurant that you went to, it is right next to the White House.
That's right.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're kind of
Yeah.
you're paying premium prices.
Absolutely.
When you go there. Okay, here we go.
Those little receipts.
I know. This is the same receipt. This
Okay.
is the little, and
Yeah.
this is the blown up version of
Okay.
it. $13.73. And this was paid at the White House Historical Association. All right, Andrea, what did you buy at the gift shop?
Yeah, so the White House gift shop, we got just a little book for our
how
little one at
exciting.
home for story time. Felt like I should bring something home.
Hold that up there a little bit for that
Yeah, you
camera. It's
see that there?
a White House alphabet. There you go. Very good. Excellent.
And you bought that for your daughter.
That's right.
Personal item. Okay, last one. Nope, two more. Legal seafood. So this is another meal.
Legal seafood. Yeah, very
Legal
good.
seafoods.
Yeah.
$28.82.
How much?
$28.82.
Okay.
So this is under dining. This is another
That's a
restaurant.
cheeseburger and fries at the airport. The airport prices, you got to love it.
Damn, food is expensive when
okay,
you
now
travel.
you said
isn't it?
airport. Did you fly into Dulles or Reagan?
That's Reagan.
Okay.
One more to go.
Last one. This is a $3 receipt. And this is also from the Metro.
That's right.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think your total was?
600 to 700. Yeah.
What do you think?
$642.
Okay, so here's how we do this, Andrew. I know you're a listener, but we do what Price is Right rules. You got to guess with the closest without going over. So you're at 642.
643.
643. Kev, what do you think Andrew's total was?
Kevin.
I'm gonna say 650.
Kev would be the winner. $714.88.
Wow. How much was it?
$714.88.
$714.88.
Andrew, man, I can't thank you enough for doing this today because I'm sure you'll get some heat for it, but it's exactly what our representatives should be, and the fact that you're just willing to come on, I mean, of something that you're paying for yourself. I mean, you're not even saying somebody else paid for it, and you're just like, here it is, man. Here's every receipt. I really appreciate that, and I know our listeners did too.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate it.
And for the representatives who aren't paying it for themselves.
Yeah, we'd like to see your receipts too.
Yeah. It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Detailing more about his final years, I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:30. A new report from the Washington Post is talking about the final years of Lake Colts owner Jim Irsay, who died in May at 65. According to the report, Irsay was prescribed opioids and ketamine by a doctor in California and had experienced at least 3 serious overdoses since 2020. IMPD and campus police at the University of Indianapolis are investigating the death of a male student. Police say they found the man in an apartment Wednesday evening. No officers injured in an officer-involved shooting from yesterday in Decatur County that left one man dead.
There was 3 officers involved in this incident, and each of those officers was equipped with a body-worn camera that was activated during this event.
Sergeant John Perrine says 39-year-old Travis Manleaf of Greensburg pointed a firearm at police during a traffic stop. And former IMPD officer Myron Howard is found not guilty on all charges that he faced in relation to rape accusations. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This isn't just racing. It's pure chaos on wheels. The Night of Thrills returns to Anderson Speedway Saturday, August 30th. Get thrilled to the max with figure 8 racing, Prairie Farms trailer races, and a whole lot more. One night, one track, unlimited adrenaline. Tickets are $20. $5 for kids 6 to 12, and free for kids 5 and under. Tickets at AndersonSpeedway.com. Gates open at 4 with thrills set to begin at 7. Don't just watch the action. Feel it. Bring the family and see why everyone is saying, I'd rather be at Anderson Speedway.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. That's 800-296-1251. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number biggest sale of the year. All beds on sale up to 50% off the limited edition smart bed. Plus free premium delivery with any smart bed and adjustable base. Ends Labor Day. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Listen up, football fans. You won't want to miss this.
Right now, new Bet365 customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. So you could turn that $200 into something bigger when you bet on money line, spread, totals, player props.
$200 in bonus bets when new customers bet $5. I know where I'm going to bet from now on. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Indiana. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
St. Vincent Medical Group Incorporated, DBA Ascension Medical Group St. Vincent, is seeking a full-time physician, endocrinology, in Carmel and Indianapolis, Indiana, to diagnose endocrine conditions and develop treatment and management plans for patients. Contact Nisha Nicolini, System Manager, Provider Contracting, at 250 West 96th Street, Suite 520, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46260, neisha.niccolini@ascension.org.
Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's family-owned jewelry store, is dedicated to quality and fine craftsmanship. Let them help you celebrate that special moment in your life. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
Okay, so let's talk about what we just did for a second. Because
Okay.
I thought that was very interesting. It's Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. So if you missed the first part of the hour, we had Andrew Ireland, state rep, come on. And look, we spent the first segment talking about the trip to Washington, D.C., about redistricting. And guys like Ireland, I like, not because I agree with them. Like, clearly I don't agree with him on this issue, but he's honest. He's like, I'm doing it, it's wholly political. And politics is trumping fairness. And so, by the way, Kev, nice job of the single shot on Casey. That's what the audience absolutely wants in their life. Just leave it like that.
We just forgot to move the camera back.
Shoot, I forgot to move it back. Hang on just a second. Don't change it yet, Kevin. Casey, filibuster for just a second. Oh, Kevin was all over that.
I can do it. You keep talking.
Like I'm trying to be a smart ass over here, and Kev's like, Rob, the camera's face is on an empty
Camera's
space.
not even on you. Kevin's going to switch it back right now.
That's hilarious.
Thank you, Kevin. You're doing an excellent job
yes,
today, by the way.
You're doing a great job.
We appreciate you so much.
Everyone's doing a good job but us. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Thank you, Kevin. Kevin, you're not doing your job. Rob, the camera's focused on an empty space. Because you didn't do your job. Anyway, I thought that was a fascinating discussion because at least he will admit the thing. At least he will say the thing, which is this is wholly political. We think we're getting screwed in other states, and we're not even going to try to fool you or anything else. And then the
we're
public
not going to say it's a population move or anything like that.
No, and look, I totally disagree with that. I'm going to fight that. Now, what I did think was interesting was he said, I'm for the session, not until I see the map. And we ran out of time. My question to him would be, well, you know the map is going to be rigged in your favor. What do you need? It sounded like he was more interested in getting rid of Andre Carson than he cared about the people in the first district. So that's first person to come out and say that publicly, which is very interesting, which I do wonder if there's going to be enough people, if the maps aren't extreme enough, are going to vote no, if the maps aren't going for both.
All the way, right.
So that'd be interesting. And then, of course, the real reason we had him on, I mean, that stuff was fun and interesting. He brought all of his receipts for his trip to Washington, D.C., because he paid for his own trip. And I've been having some fun with him on social media. And he said, hey, I'll gladly come in and show you the receipts to show that I paid for it. And he's a nice guy, and he's not going to say it out loud, but he knows what Diego is. And everybody in that State House knows what Diego Morales, Secretary of State, is. And they know that his story is ridiculous. One, that he won't tell you who paid for his trip to a foreign country. And they also know it's ridiculous that he claims he paid the money back. There's not a person alive who believes dollar for dollar Diego Morales paid back the money for that trip to India. And this is his way. This is Andrew Ireland's way of telling the masses, we know exactly what this guy is in the State House. We know how ridiculous he behaves. And that was the absolute best thing he could have done, was come on here and show us the coffees, the McDonald's.
Yep.
I mean, technically, I don't even really care about all that. I care about the big stuff, right? But he was so detail-oriented on it, and Diego could do that too, and he doesn't want to do it because I don't think there's a person alive who believes he actually paid that money back.
Well, and the thing is, with Andrew Ireland, he went down to the penny. This is what it was, the exact amount the whole way. And with Diego Morales, Secretary of State, saying, oh, yeah, I'll show you I paid it back, was it just going to be like a round number?
Well, that's what I was intrigued by. And look, we went back on this, and several people in the financial industry and the payroll industry said, look, you can't just go. I know you want to see it out of curiosity, just see what sort of shenanigans he's pulled.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, they made a great point. They said, once you accept the premise of his terms, then you basically have to accept the thing that you're being shown because you walk in there knowing. Well, he's going to pull bull crap, and there's not a person alive. If this were a legit business type transaction or engagement, that would accept without seeing proof the check was cashed or the receipts that back it up. So they said you can't do it, even though you just really want to see what sort of shenanigans he's going to pull.
Right. I mean, is he going to show you the actual receipts of, his dinner at the Lemon Hall in, India,
right,
or wherever he went, down to every last coffee? No, he probably didn't keep those receipts.
But here's the question that everybody should keep asking themselves. Well, there's two questions, really. One, why will no elected official call him out? Let's face it, all the heat on this dude has generated out of this radio program. Now, other outlets have run stories, etc., but the smoke that bothers him, which is why he goes on bizarre rants at Motor Vehicle Advisory Board meetings, is about us. Because he can't tell. The problem he has with us, unlike the Star, is he can't go, well, the liberal Indy Star, and I'm a Republican. What's he going to say about us? Mm-hmm. He can't challenge our conservative credentials or our liberty-minded credentials. We dislike you because we see through you, Diego. We dislike you because we know what a fraudster you are. We know what a grifter you are. We know what an unethical, dirty, rotten person you are. So there's nothing you're going to do to us, and that's why he hates us, because he knows people listen, but he can't leverage the liberal media stuff against us.
So if Andrew Ireland went to Washington, D.C., he did say he spent the night. We had the hotel receipt, that whole thing. So it was, a 24-hour trip?
Yeah, basically.
$714.88. That was for 24 hours in country.
That's right.
What do you think the price tag was for 7 to 10 days in India? Halfway around the world?
Well, I think I talked to somebody at the time about this, and they said if he did it for under 10 grand, they'd be surprised. When you factor the flights, the hotels, all the travel, everything, whoever paid for it. And if we just kind of make that as a nice round working number, which, by the way, Diego could put all of this to bed, just do what Andrew Ireland did. Literally what he just did is exactly what we asked for. And I probably don't even need the coffees thrown in.
Or the McDonald's.
I don't think I bet most of Diego's meals were pretty fine meals. I don't think he did too much corner cutting while he was there. But my point on all this is, that's it. For the people who want to hate on us or we're out to get Diego or whatever, he just did it. He just did the exact thing that if Diego had done this months ago, we'd have been done with it. But he won't do it because everybody knows what he is. And for some reason, the thing I cannot figure out is why no lawmakers, no elected people will call him out. Why nobody in the State House? I mean, Andrew sort of did there in his own. He's very polite and he's very nice. But why the Democrats won't make him the center focus of everything they do? The public understands this. This is why the Tom Kleinhelter thing is become so big. Because the public understands public corruption. They understand or potential public corruption, or the idea of things not being on the up and up. They understand politicians cutting corners. They understand politicians not being honest with them. They understand politicians not giving them the whole story. And they're sick of it. And this guy, Diego Morales, is the poster child for the unethical, corrupt, deceitful, rotten behavior, and he's in such a position of importance. So that's the first thing I can't understand. The other thing I can't understand is why when he goes to these events, people don't treat him the way we do. We know people think this. We hear from them all the time. And yet when he goes to these events, people just shake his hand and smile at him. Like, I don't understand why anyone would tolerate this from any politician, much less somebody that's in the importance of Diego Morales, who has access to the personal information of millions of people and thousands of businesses. He is the last person who should have access to that sort of stuff. And yet, the politicians and the political insider people just go, yeah, well.
My question is, Governor Braun said yesterday when he was on with Hammer and Nigel, yeah, it's like cleanup in aisle 5. When does the cleanup begin?
Yeah, that's a great. Now, the answer is, if we just cut through all the crap, the answer is the money that touches Diego touches so many of these politicians. I mean, that's it. That's the long and short of it. These politicians, you've seen it like these Indy Star articles about the utilities buying these politicians. These politicians are essentially legally for sale. And the money and the amount of money and where the money comes from touches so many politicians on both sides of the aisle. Don't you ever sit around going, like we said, why aren't the Democrats all over this? Because the money goes both ways. And if the money touches them or power brokers that they're beholden to, they're not going to say a word. Because as the theme of the show today, politicians don't give a damn about you.
It's Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show this afternoon, the biggest stories of the day, and Rob Kendall will rip off his shirt, put on war paint, and go off the rails. 93 WIBC.
Grown-ups, don't go back to school. Go forward through school into your future as an IT professional. Whether you're starting out, switching careers, or a veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you get into IT in just a few short months with no prior experience. So take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Your rewarding career in IT awaits. That's mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the VA benefits.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Life Church. You know, we go to the Life Church Eagle Creek location, but they've got 4 campuses across central Indiana: Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton. Plus, they've got awesome online services. And on top of that, Life Church has an awesome course starting in September. It's called the Alpha Course, and it's 9 Mondays. Life Church, by the way, provide free childcare for you if you need that. And for 9 Mondays beginning September 15th, they're going to answer all the questions you have about the Bible. No questions off limits. It's such a cool course. It's helped so many people. 9 Mondays beginning September the 15th. Learn more about it online, lifechurchin.com.
Well, summer's still hot, and so are the deals at Tom Roush Lincoln. Right now, get 0% for up to 48 months on 2025 Lincoln Aviator and Nautilus, or 0.9% for 72 months on 2025 Grand Touring Corsair. Or how about a $50,000 Lincoln Corsair from just $499 per month? So come get one of those hot summer deals at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
MSRP $52.20, 36-month term, $2,500 due at signing, $499 a month, 10,500 miles per year. Good through 8/31/25.
Fall is approaching, and Miss M's Home and Garden is ready to help you. Visit the Garden Center for all things fall and shop the Labor Day weekend sale. Now at Miss M's, save 20% on all trees, shrubs, and patio furniture, and 30% on all pottery. These are the deals you don't want to miss. Get ahead of the fall planning. Add some color with high-quality pottery, or get a few pieces of poly patio furniture just in time for the cooler fall nights. Miss M's on State Road 135, south of Whiteland Road in Bargersville. Closed Labor Day.
At Advent, we help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine by getting your nose and throat working with our unique Advent approach that you won't find elsewhere.
Some things can steal your sunshine.
Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit Pfizerforall.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The Attorney General's office wants to put your money back in your pocket. Visit indianaunclaimed.gov and search for yourself, your loved ones, or your business. It's fast, easy, and free.
More tariffs later, tornadoes possible.
WIBC.com gives you more than just headlines. It's context, updates, and insight. Whether you're at work, on the move, or catching up late, the latest is already there. Stay in the know while you're on the go at WIBC.com.
This guy will not leave us alone.
Who's that?
It's getting very weird. Like he's turning into the cable guy at this point.
Who are you talking about?
The mouthy mayor of Lebanon, Matt Gentry. Mouthy Matt.
Is he tagging you in some stuff? He wants to come on the show, Rob.
Yeah, but it's very, if you've ever seen the movie Cable Guy, most people have, I assume, Jim Carrey plays this kind of neurotic cable guy who's not even really a cable guy, it turns out in the end. And his whole quest in life is to try to make friends that he didn't make when he was a kid because his mother just stuck him in front of the television. And he latches on to Matthew Broderick. That's Ferris Bueller, right? That was the guy who played Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the straight guy in the movie and comes off as this super normal, rational guy in the beginning, and then it's a dark what they call a dark comedy. You begin to learn more and more things about the cable guy as he becomes more and more obsessed with being Matthew Broderick's friend. You've never seen Cable Guy?
No, I haven't.
You've never seen Cable Cab? Have you ever seen Cable Guy?
You know, I don't know if I've actually watched the full movie.
It's actually a phenomenal movie. I mean, it's a comedy, and it's a Jim Carrey movie when Jim Carrey was still funny, but it's actually a phenomenal movie. You have to watch. I can't believe you've never seen the Cable Guy.
I've never seen it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, this was like 96 or 97 that it came out. Anyway, that's who Matt Gentry, the mayor of Lebanon, is becoming. He's becoming Cable Guy. He will not leave us alone.
He wants to come on the show and talk about stuff, and he's,
we have enough friends, Matt. Just like Matthew Broderick tells Jim Carrey in Cable Guy, I don't have room for any more pests in my life. Now, he says friends, but I'm saying pests. And that's what people like you are, Matt Gentry. You're a pest. P-E-S-T, pest of the taxpayer. And I have enough pests to worry about.
He said that you're too afraid to have him on. Are you afraid?
No, politicians are boring. Unless you're going to do something fun and creative like Andrew. This is why we very rarely have politicians on, because they're boring. You offer nothing. Unless you're going to do something fun and creative like Andrew Ireland did, where he's going to stick a middle finger at Diego Morales and bring receipts for his trip. Why would we have you on? We already have an opinion about LEAP. We already have an opinion about the IEDC. We already think it's ridiculous what's going on out there. Why would we give you a platform when you still haven't returned a favor for us? There's been no reciprocation. We had you on the show. You were a rotten house guest. You came in here. We were very nice to you. And then you got lippy the moment you left the studio. You never said you're sorry for your bad behavior. It's the equivalent of like wiping mud on our carpet on your way out the door. And we have said until you do something for us, which I think the equivalent of getting to be on the #1 rated radio program is that we get to speak at the state of the city, then we're not having you on.
Okay.
Right? That seems fair.
Yeah.
We went first. We invited. You ever have that friend that never wanted to let you come play at his house growing up?
Yeah.
You always had to go over to your house.
Right.
And you had to,
so
clean
that's
your
what this
room.
is?
Yeah.
He's always coming to play at our house.
That's
we
right.
never get invited to his house.
And who are you to demand anything? One, you're not interesting. That's the first part of it. Two, there's nothing you're going to tell us that's going to change our mind or anybody else's mind. And three, we already did the thing. You already had your chance, and you're rotten.
So he just keeps going on about it, though.
Yeah, and the worst thing you can do is pester me. Casey. Casey will back this up. My desire in life is to not have any communication with you people. And the worst thing you can do if you want something is to pester me. The fastest way to get something is to leave me alone.
Or be nice to me.
Well, we tried that, and we said, I don't think it's unreasonable for us to say, we want to speak at the Lebanon State of the City. That's your opportunity to show equal
time.
Whatever, right?
Equitable for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. You also got into a fight with somebody else
that's right,
last night online.
We have to. I have to read this verbatim. Jim Lucas got our regular winner of the Dumbass of the Day award, State Rep Jim Lucas.
Jim Lucas.
He got lippy last night. Oh, I know what he got lippy about. He got lippy about Craig Haggard. So Craig Haggard's a state rep, and where was this? Did I screenshot? There it is. Haggard's got some campaign guy. He's running for Congress. He's the guy that came on our show, said he was against redistricting. The maps were beautiful. He liked them. And then once some podcaster in Arizona was threatened to be mean to him, he folded. And so he got himself a photo in Washington, D.C. because he's Mr. Photo Op guy. And so I just retweeted the photo, and I said, this is the face of the guy that's such a gutless coward. He was willing to lie to every single constituent because he was petrified of pissing off a podcaster in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah.
He came on our show, he lied.
Yeah.
So, and the only thing that changed was Charlie Kirk threatened to do...
Quickly changed his mind.
Yes, he threatened to do mean things to his electoral chances. And so Jim Lucas, who we all know the issues that he's had over the years with telling the truth.
Which you reminded him of.
Fleeing accountability, responded and said, a Marine Corps fighter pilot is a gutless coward, 3 question marks, and then a bunch of laughy faces. And so I responded to him and I said, if you're afraid of a podcaster from Arizona and wilt on a policy position, yes. Now, in fairness, it's not as gutless as fleeing the scene after driving while drunk and trying to hide your car, but, well, you get the idea.
Wow.
And he didn't respond to that. Oh, maybe he did. Let's see. Is there any responses? Nope, nothing. Well, there were responses, but none from him.
You know, in all fairness, with these guys taking pictures of themselves, the selfies or whatever, in Washington, D.C., I'd have done the same thing. I mean, as an American, I would have been proud to have been there.
Well, I don't have any problem with people going and paying for their own trips. I don't have any problem. He's fine. Good for him. He's entitled to go wherever he wants.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be paying for it because they could do the same thing on Zoom. But if he wants to go, he being Andrew Ireland or any of these people who paid for their own trips, good on them. I don't care. My point is, I don't want to pay for it. And I don't think that's unreasonable if we're saying we're too broke to fund the state budget without raising taxes by $1 billion, or we can't fund our roads without raising the never-ending gas tax, or there's no money to help you with property taxes, or we can't stand up to the utilities or any of this other stuff, then I don't think there should be money. Braun can't even tell a straight story on how much it's going to cost.
It went from $150,000 to maybe $250,000 to $350,000.
And whether it's Lucas or Haggard or any of these guys, I'm not going to take your crap. And Jim Lucas, if you're going to get lippy on social media, I'm going to point out, Jim Lucas, how you drove drunk, you blew through a barricade, you fled the scene, you hid your car, you got cute with the cops. Every time, Jim. Because that shows the dishonest, deceitful behavior that you think is acceptable. So when you're going to get mouthy or try to be a tough guy on the internet, I'm going to point that out to the public. Now, voters may care, may not. Clearly, last time $50,000 from the Republican Party came in and saved your election. They'll probably do it again because Jim's a good boy now. He does what he's told. But it ain't going to happen on my Twitter account.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for listening today. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield has the deals you've been looking for your next car, truck, SUV, or electric vehicle. And right now, during their Red, White, and New sales event, you will get independence from car payments with no payments for 3 months and enjoy your freedom in the new Ford F-150 Super Crew or Mustang with 0% APR financing for 48 months. At Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield, they're pros at servicing your commercial vehicles. From medium to heavy-duty F-Series trucks, talk to Andy Moore Ford, the biggest selection of Super Duties in the entire state. Over 175 Super Duty trucks are on the ground and ready for you and your business, and you can save thousands because Andy always gives you more. And with an expert team and a fast turnaround, they know how to keep your business moving. Talk to Andy Moore Ford today. 2713 East Main Street in Plainfield or online at Andy Moore Ford, MOHR. I love Andy. AndyMooreFord.com.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Community Health Network cares for your heart health. From heart scans and vascular screenings to complex heart procedures, you can count on our expert team for the highest quality cardiovascular care, when and where you need it. Your path to a healthy heart starts with knowing your risk. Schedule a heart scan or vascular screening today. Visit ecommunity.com/heart. Community Health Network. Exceptional care. Simply delivered.
Make summer nights unforgettable with Indie Decorative Concrete. Get 50% off a stunning fire pit with their best stamped concrete patio package. Offer ends September 1st. IndieDecorativeConcrete.com.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up.
Discriminatory and predatory.
A student found dead in an apartment.
It would be the worst case scenario.
Don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers.
This is the WIBC News at noon.
What to do with unruly kids and their parents. Cloudy and 64 degrees in the Circle City. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 12 noon. A proposal to fine Indianapolis parents for curfew violations was introduced. Ryan Hedrick reports.
It was the topic again on Wednesday, months after a July 5th shooting killed 2 teenagers and left several others injured. Democrat Councilor Krista Carlino.
Mr. Chairman, are discriminatory and predatory.
Republican Councilor Michael Paul Hart responded.
It's your responsibility to be accountable for your child, and it can happen to anybody.
It was the Public Safety Committee who talked about this. They say they'll tell the full council on September 8th that they do not recommend imposing fines. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC, Mobile News.
Former Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay died in May at the age of 65. Well, the Washington Post is now reporting that over the last 5 years, he had 3 serious incidents, one in 2020 and 2 in late 2023 at his Carmel home and a Florida resort. He was prescribed opioids and ketamine by a California doctor. Police called the Carmel incident an overdose, though the Colts said he was battling a severe respiratory illness, and Irsay later said he had to go to a hospital to have back surgery. A UIndy student was found dead. Jarrett Lewis reports.
The University of Indianapolis Police Department and IMPD are now investigating the death of a student found dead in an apartment at University Lofts. Officers came to the apartment at around 8:30 Wednesday night. They said they found a college-aged male deceased in not natural circumstances. University President Tanuja Singh released a statement saying they are cooperating with police and supporting the family. The student's identity has not been released at this time. Jarrett Lewis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Still unclear which way Indiana Governor Mike Braun is leaning when it comes to a possible special session.
It would be the worst case scenario would be if we called a session and didn't have the votes. That's called whipping the votes.
Braun was on WIBC's Hammer and Nigel show Wednesday, and according to him, a special session would cost somewhere between $250,000 and $300,000. Some Republicans want to discuss redrawing the state's congressional districts, while others want to go further on property tax relief for Hoosiers. It appears the third time is the charm for Kroger employees. Johnette Cruz explains why.
Kroger employees in Central Indiana have approved a new 3-year contract after months of negotiations. Over 8,000 members of UFCW Local 700 voted 56% in favor of the deal. This comes after members rejected 2 previous offers, forcing the union and Kroger back to the bargaining table. The new agreement includes retroactive pay, wage increases over the life of the contract, and expanded health care benefits that include coverage for spouses. Johnette Cruz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Why the CDC is having some issues and a plan from the First Lady. Those stories and more next on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, let's talk about progressives' thoughts and prayers comments. And is Tulsi Gabbard really up for the job? That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
While Tony, 2 kids were killed, nearly 20 more were injured in a shooting that happened in a Catholic church at a school in Minneapolis Wednesday. This 8th grader named Javen Willis spoke with NBC's Today Show this morning about what he experienced.
Right when I heard the shots, I knew something was off. I didn't think that they would have, a lot of my classmates thought it was confetti and fireworks, but I didn't think they would have that during the middle of the church service.
He says he told his friends to get under the pews and tried to keep his classmates calm. The shooter took his own life. The mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, says it's time for action, not empty words.
Don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying.
First Lady Melania Trump is calling for preemptive intervention when she made that comment on social media. She believes being aware of these warning signs and acting quickly can save lives and make communities safer. There's trouble at the CDC, Fox's Lillian Wu explains.
The White House says it's fired CDC Director Susan Menares, but her attorney pushing back, saying she was targeted for refusing to rubber stamp unscientific, reckless directives and fire dedicated health experts, and that only President Trump can fire her. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. telling Fox and Friends,
we need strong leadership that will go in there and
that will be able to execute on President Trump's broad ambitions.
At least 4 top officials at the CDC submitted resignations Wednesday, citing recent changes and leadership at their agency, preventing them from carrying out their public health duties. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
Several college football teams begin their regular season tonight. 25th ranked Boise State is at South Florida. In the Big Ten this evening, Rutgers hosts Ohio at 6. Buffalo is at Minnesota at 8. It's 9 o'clock kickoffs for Nebraska at Cincinnati and Wisconsin battling Miami of Ohio. 6th-ranked Notre Dame turns to freshman quarterback C.J. Carr as the Irish get ready to open their season in prime time at Miami. Lynn Clark reports.
Carr says being named quarterback at Notre Dame is the fulfillment of a lifelong dream.
Yeah, it means everything. This is what you worked for your whole life, really. I was talking to my dad earlier. He talked about just when we were in the competition, he was saying if I would have told you as a middle schooler or high schooler that you'd be at the University of Notre Dame competing to be the starting quarterback here, you would have been, jumping up and down.
Carr adds that he won't make the moment bigger than it is. He'll lead the Irish into a top 10 showdown under the lights in Miami on Sunday night. Len Clark, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And the 20th-ranked Indiana Hoosiers start their season on Saturday at 2:30 against Old Dominion. Radio coverage starts at 1:30 over on our sister station, 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. So far, looking at the stock market today, the Dow is down 5 points, the S&P up 3, and the NASDAQ up 50. I'm John Herrick on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers in Carmel, designers of fine custom jewelry.
From the heartland and the crossroads of America, it's Tony Katz Today.
I wish I never brainwashed myself. Not quite sure what else we're supposed to say after that. The people who support gender-affirming care are monsters. And gender-affirming care exists as a term to allow them to be monsters. I apologize for nothing. The people who support the abuse of children, who allow children to think they can change their gender, the adults who think they can change their gender, they are mentally ill. They are wrong, and we should say so. But anybody who pushes the idea of gender-affirming care is a monster, is a danger to children, and it is a signal, it is a warning not to let them near your kids. Tony Katz Today. Good to be with you. Find everything I do at TonyKatz.com. This is true of teachers. This is true of administrators. This is true of parents. This is true of doctors. They are not, because they have an MD after their name, somehow above it all and beyond reproach and incapable of any level of failure. They can be just as violent, just as evil, just as hateful, and just as dangerous. If a doctor believes in gender-affirming care, that doctor is an abuser and should not be allowed to practice medicine. Any hospital that's willing to do top surgery or engage in these practices is a hospital that favors the mutilation of children, and they should not only get no dollars, they should be shut down. We are a society that must demand that children are protected, more often than not from themselves, but without question, protected from brutal, disgusting, despicable adults who claim that they're there to help. No one in favor of gender-affirming care can ever help. All they can do is create a disaster, engage in mutilation, engage in abuse, and leave a child absolutely destroyed. The line, "I wish I never brainwashed myself," came from this guy who murdered 2 children, injured 17 in Minneapolis, who shot up this church, this school and church. It's a man. Now, I don't really care what it is that Jake Tapper wants to say. I don't give a good holy damn about Jake Tapper. By the way, there is no kindness coming from me today, so maybe a little rougher than you normally get from me. Jake Tapper can go to hell. Because when you're talking about a murderer, when you are speaking so clearly about a murderer, you do not concern yourself with whether or not you've got the right pronoun being used. But not CNN. Oh, no, not CNN at all.
Minneapolis Star-Tribune, just as another piece of the puzzle as to who the shooter was. The Minneapolis Star-Tribune says, according to court records, because there's been some confusion about what the shooter's name was.
Yes.
Robin Westman's mother applied to change her child's name in 2019. It was, at one point, Robert Paul Westman.
Correct.
But since she identifies as a female and wants her name to reflect that identification, was underage, it's now Robin Westman.
That is CNN buying into mental illness. Who cares if he thought he was a girl? He was never a girl. He will never be a girl. No man will ever be a woman. No woman will ever be a man. Don't tell me that I'm not being kind. It is not kind to brainwash, not kind to abuse, not kind to mutilate children. We're right and they're wrong. And for those people on the side of the wrong, screw you. You're the enemy. We're through the looking glass. We're done talking about it in any level of half measure, to which I don't believe I've ever spoken about it in any level of half measure. You're wrong. And Jake Tapper saying, well, we got to be aware of the pronouns. No, we don't. That's mental illness. And that is feeding into the mental illness, which is exactly the thing you cannot do. Exactly what was done to this boy, now man, now dead, after murdering two. Writing a manifesto. I hate the Jews. I hate this one. I hate that one. I hate the other one. A lot of hate, a lot of anger, nowhere to go with it. And a family structure and others who said, well, if this will make you feel better, go ahead. Change allegedly who you are. That'll make sense. No part of it makes sense. It is an obscenity. And yet still, we see people like the New York Times on social media, writes the New York Times, some conservative activists have seized on the shooter's gender identity to broadly portray transgender people as violent or mentally ill. The police did not provide any motive for the attack, but they write the name Ms. Extensive social media history was a contradictory catalog of anger and grievance. Of course there was a motive. Mental illness that manifested in this transgenderism because people bought into the mental illness and supported the mental illness as opposed to getting this young man help. That's what happened. You bet your bottom dollar we're going to talk about gender identity and the issues there of abusing and manipulating and hurting children. Because that's what's happened here. The New York Times doesn't want to admit it? Screw the New York Times. They're not the paper of record anyway. This is their headline. Minneapolis suspect knew her target. Her target. They're still doing this. Minneapolis suspect knew her target, but motive is a mystery. Motive is not a mystery. How is the motive a mystery? Mentally ill person does mentally ill thing. Mentally ill person was told, if you just do this to yourself, everything will be fine because you're really this, and we're going to buy into your mental illness, and it didn't make everything good. They weren't happy. They couldn't find their way to happiness. Everything was about anger. Everything was about vitriol. Everything was about destruction. Every last thing. A rifle, a shotgun, a handgun, all utilized in this attack. Looking up other shooters. And still saying, as the New York Times is, we're not sure of the motive. We all know the motive. Because we don't lie to ourselves. Like Jake Tapper lies to you. So let's start where we need to start. Let's start where we need to start. We have a society of progressives that thinks it's okay to abuse children and use the terminology of gender-affirming care. What they have claimed is that if you do not allow a child to do this, they will kill themselves. If you follow this show at all, you know that that is a lie. It has always been a lie. The want to harm oneself comes from within. It does not get fixed from the outside. It gets fixed from the inside. I speak as somebody who battled the depression. I speak as somebody who went through the suicidal thoughts. You can dial 988. I believe that's now the suicide prevention hotline. I never made that call. If you need to, go ahead. Do it. Stop listening to me and go make that call. It gets better. I'm right here. Yours might get better than mine. You might not get as good as mine. My experience is that it gets better. Being suicidal is awful, horrible, and horrific. And days upon days and weeks upon weeks, how could I do this and not have my wife come in and find me? What is the note that I leave? What is the barrier? Oh, that happened. That happened for a long time. Got better. That didn't happen from some external force or some change in my makeup. Externally, it happened from within. What is wrong with me? What is it that I'm experiencing? And how do I find a better way to channel that thing? Not to make it disappear. I don't know if it ever disappears, but a better way to channel it, work with it, engage with it. That can happen. That's number one. But when you lie and say this magic elixir will take care of you, gender-affirming care is nothing more than snake oil. And the snake oil salesman just wants to sell you snake oil. And the adult who wants to abuse children gets off on abusing children. And we don't have any place for them in our society. And it's us or them, and I choose us. And they can run for cover. Whether they're doctors or teachers or anything else, they call themselves professionals. They're abusers. We should call them abusers. And I should be also clear that there are parents who are dealing with this social contagion, because that's all it is. If you think there are this many transgendered people with gender dysphoria in America, you're kidding yourself. It is a statistical anomaly. It is all insanity. It is social contagion, and we all know it. We all know it. So let's start saying so out loud with a lot of force behind our voice. But there are parents going through this and trying to figure out how they keep hold of their kids. That's real. I feel for them in a way I cannot properly describe. But parents who allow their kids to do this and support their kids doing this, it is abuse. And we wouldn't let a parent punch a kid in the face and let that kid stay with that parent. What exactly do we think we're doing? Oh, because a doctor said so? Doctors who support gender-affirming care are abusive doctors who should not be allowed to practice medicine in the United States. Zero practice. You cannot get mentally healthy from the external. It must come from inside. And we must deal with mental illness with recognition, not with platitudes. It must be dealt with honesty, not with snake oil. This murderer, whose name I don't use, I don't give credit to these things. This murderer wrote, "I can't cut my hair now. I only keep the long hair because it is pretty much my last shred of being trans. I am tired of being trans. I wish I never brainwashed myself." Continuing, "I can't cut my hair now as it would be an embarrassing defeat, and it might be a concerning change of character that could get me reported. It just always gets in my way. I will probably chop it on the day of the attack." This planned attack. Now, he later wrote that, "I regret this and I wish I was a girl." So again, the mental illness at play, which does not go away. If we are not honest with ourselves and our society and what we are allowing to happen at the hands of progressives, well then we're going to be destroyed. We're going to lose society from the inside out. That's what's going to happen. We're going to lose society from the inside out if we are unwilling to protect children. We have no shot. And to do so, we must look at those people like Jake Tapper, like the crying Jen Psaki, she actually cried, like the embarrassment of a mayor, Jacob Frey, and like the twisted lieutenant governor of Minnesota, wearing a T-shirt that says protect trans kids that has a knife on it, like she's somehow tough.
Because let's be clear, this is life-affirming and life-saving healthcare. When our children tell us who they are, it is our job as grown-ups to listen and to believe them.
You are a disgusting, terrible person. You are wrong. You are engaged in an act of true violence against children. You are engaged in hatred of children. No, it is not the job of the parent to listen and believe them. It is to be honest with them and tell them no. You're not a girl, you're a boy. You're not a boy, you're a girl. It is to always be the touchstone of honesty that allows them to have an understanding of what's happening in the world around them. It is not life-saving care. It destroys the mind and the soul and society. You are wrong. It is despicable. It is reprehensible what it is that you are saying and you are offering. You are wrong, Lieutenant Governor, and you have to lose. This is a fight for the soul of America. This is the fight for the soul, period. This is whether or not we survive. This right here. And you have to lose. Let's make sure at the ballot box that happens. No harm should come to the Lieutenant Governor. No harm should come to those people who believe ridiculous things. But we should be changing rules and laws today. Amazingly, we have to do this to protect children. For those people who want to engage in mutilating children, there should be jail time. We should not shy away from this. And we should be supportive of those kids who have been down this road and realize I have made a mistake. No shunning, no shaming, no embarrassment. It's okay. Let's get you what you need to help get you back on a path to an enjoyable life to the best of your ability. The people who support gender-affirming care are monsters. We should say so. The people who are politicos and support it should lose elections. It is our job to protect children, more often than not from themselves, but certainly from the predator adults, whether they be in academia or in medicine. Let's start doing that. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today.
The shooting killed 2 children, only 8 and 10 years old.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
There were a lot of hugs. There were a lot of tears.
Governor Braun ordered the flags to fly at half-staff.
Another update is just minutes away.
600 drone ballistic missiles were fired on targets in Ukraine.
It's your responsibility to be accountable for your child, and if you determine not to do that, this is what can happen.
Stepped out of the car and pointed a handgun at police. 3 cops ended up shooting him.
Stay in the know while you're on the go.
Ballard says he will not trade Anthony Richardson.
You know exactly why you need to remodel that kitchen of yours. The space, it's outdated. You can't move around like you used to. It doesn't work like it needs to. You want to entertain and you want to improve your quality of life. This can happen, just not with the kitchen you have. You need to call Booher Remodeling. BOOHER. BooherRemodeling.com. They can take that old kitchen that's deteriorating and broken down and turn it into something that works for you and your family. Their 5-step design process from start to finish, the consultation, the preliminary design design. The design development, getting all the documents together and then getting it done. The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. Boer Remodeling will guide you through the entire process, starting with the free initial consultation, and they stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Create that new kitchen. Design experts can use an existing layout or begin completely from scratch. Talk to Boer Remodeling today. BOOHER. BoerRemodeling.com. That's BoerRemodeling.com.
Worried about market losses? If headlines are keeping you up at night, it's time to take control. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I know you've worked hard to save. But in times like these, what if can turn into what now? If you're planning to retire or are in retirement, you need a strategy that helps protect your future. At Trajan Wealth, you can capture market gains, protect your account from losses, and guarantee income for life. Right now, you could receive a bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. You heard me right. An upfront bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10%, all guaranteed to boost your lifetime income in retirement. Don't leave your future to chance. Plan with confidence. Call Trajan today at 317-480-4040. That's 317-480-4040.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company, DBA, in most states, as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
Well, summer's still hot, and so are the deals at Tom Roush Lincoln. Right now, get 0% for up to 48 months on 2025 Lincoln Aviator and Nautilus, or 0.9% for 72 months on 2025 Grand Touring Corsair. Or how about a $50,000 Lincoln Corsair from just $499 per month? So come get one of those hot summer deals at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fisher.
MSRP $52.20, 36-month term, $2,500 due at signing, $499 a month, 10,500 miles per year. Good through 8/31/25.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken.
Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone? But COVID-19 can steal a lot more. I just took a COVID test. Ugh. Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
We may be thousands of miles apart, but we can still connect. And when we do, we make things better. At Child Fund, we connect children all around the world with what they need to grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Together, we co-create connections that help millions of children who live in poverty worldwide, and their families, and their communities, and you. Join us. Together, we can make the world a better place. 2 small worlds at a time. Visit childfund.org to learn more.
Hammer and Nigel show this afternoon, the biggest stories of the day, and Rob Kendall will rip off his shirt, put on war paint, and go off the rails. 93 WIBC.
Sings a song, sounds like she's singing. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Just like the white-winged dove. Sings a song, sounds like she's singing. Ooh, baby.
A quick story about Iowa. And the reminder that when you say, my gosh, look at what's happening with the registrations and look how Democrats are losing. Well, there is certainly a reason for that. How can you be around people who can't even accept the idea that fighting crime is a good idea? They won't accept it. They don't accept fighting crime is worthwhile. Tony Katz today, good to be with you. They have to be anti-Trump all the time. It's no way to live. It really isn't. It's just, it's got to be horrifying every day to wake up with that feeling. But there was a special election that took place in Iowa. It was a state race. And in this state Senate race, the Democrat won by 9 points. And you say, okay, Democrat won by 9 points. This is Iowa that Trump took by 11. That means this person had a swing of 20 points. 20 points. 20. Trump is still popular. But not Republicans. Republicans have still a branding issue. They still have a marketing issue. They still have not done things of their own accord to give people reason to say we're voting for Republicans. Right now, it's still Trump. The registration switch is because the Democrats are crazy. But now you got to get those people out to the polls, and that comes from action. And that action comes from states as well. And because this seat flipped, Republicans no longer have the supermajority in Iowa. Now, it's not all bad, because when you lose a supermajority, maybe you'll actually work harder. Maybe you'll work harder. It's not a bad thing. Maybe it's a valuable thing. Maybe we'll get something better because of it. But don't confuse Trump's popularity with Republican popularity. And don't think you're going to walk into 2026 and it's going to be a cakewalk. Work hard, campaign hard. This is Tony Katz Today.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Update from Minnesota. I'm Johnette Cruz. Here's what's trending at 12:30. 6 victims remain in critical condition in Minneapolis as the city attempts to pick up the pieces from Wednesday's deadly church mass shooting.
There's a growing memorial of flowers and messages of remembrance for the victims outside Annunciation Church, where evil struck Wednesday, where a gunman shot and killed 2 children and injured 17 others, including 3 adults. This woman, one of many, feeling the need to be there.
It's emotional. So I wanted to come out and just pay my respects and do what little I can do.
We're told that all those injured are expected to survive as local and federal investigators look for answers, many that we already have. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
And Kroger employees in central Indiana have approved a new 3-year contract. The deal, which affects over 8,000 workers, was ratified by a 56% vote. I'm Johnette Cruz on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
At Verizon, lock in a low price on the most reliable 5G in Indianapolis and be the best you. Stream your favorite music on your morning commute. Get tickets to that new Blockbuster and save big with Verizon while you do it all. Switch today and pay $50 a month for a single line. That's right, just $50 a month when you bring in your phone on unlimited welcome with autopay plus taxes and fees. Stop by your nearest Verizon store today. $15 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Rankings based on Root Metrics Root Score Report data 1H 2025. Your results may vary. Additional terms apply.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to My Computer Career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
When I was younger, I may have did some stupid things, even committed some crimes, but I am not a criminal.
I work for youth advocate programs, yeah. I was Tamani's advocate, helping him stay out of jail, stay in the neighborhood, and get a job.
As a little kid, I experienced trauma and I acted out. Made some mistakes, but I'm not a mistake.
As Jalen's YAP advocate, I'm always here for her.
YAP is a community-based alternative to youth incarceration and neighborhood violence. Youth advocate programs. Learn how at yapinc.org.
I'm a veteran. We hit a mine in Vietnam. When I came home, I didn't know where to turn.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
My victory's been never giving up hope. My wife is always there to remind me we have a life to live.
DAV provides a lifetime of support, helping veterans of every generation get the benefits they've earned.
I am a veteran, but after I got out, I spent 2 years alone and homeless.
Every year, DAV helps more than 1 million veterans so they can reach victories great and small.
My victory was finding the